welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
Hey, good. It's very good Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, right here in Edmonton Sports Talk, your good choice for Edmonton Sports. Iwanyk, Gazzola, Jasmine Sidhu with you, Benny the intern on the other side, and Doug Maclean. He will be by shortly. It's been a while since I had Doug on.
I love him. He's great.
Weekend. Doug didn't wait some time, so I texted him. He's able to come today. He's coming after a work meeting, so he'll be here very shortly. The EST Angle, as I said, presented by Sentinel Storage. Canada Storage actually for 2 decades, helping Canadians through life transition. Canadian storage by Canadian. I screwed something up. Tommy, can you take over for a quick second?
Yeah. Okay, what a crazy week. Jazzy, good to see you. How you been? Are you nervous about this week?
I am maybe a little bit of anxiety, but more so just like, let's get it on. Like, let's go, baby.
It's delayed slow burn up until Wednesday.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
I can't wait to hear about your media, the media release or the media day yesterday.
Oh, today's media day. I'll be going there for media day late, like right after we finish up Hangout. And it's gonna be busy. The Panthers came into town yesterday. And what else? Yeah, they're gonna have all the pods or the small like podiums set up for everybody. So today's the big day. Gary Bettman is coming to town tomorrow. Gary Bettman. My old boss Mark Siapa, who's with the Devils now. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Chomps. And I was like, "What are you doing for your birthday?" He's like, "Having dinner with Gary Bettman." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's at some conference tonight, flying in tomorrow, and then Bettman will be ready for obviously game one. So all of it's happening. Like they're announcing concerts and this and that. You just had an epiphany?
Well, I just remembered game one last year had the big introduction to both teams.
Yes.
And the cup was kind of put out there.
Yeah.
As hey, this is what you're playing for. And they didn't do that in Edmonton for games 3.
True.
So that will be happening tomorrow night.
Yes. So here's the other thing, too, as I adjust my microphone. Edmonton, as I've learned, because it is the team with home ice advantage, is the hub for the Cup Final. Whereas last year, obviously, it was Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit more that comes with that. Mm-hmm. And I'm realizing this very quickly, and all the little things you don't think about that pop up. So it's been very busy in a good way. This is super exciting. Rogers Place is like a small military compound, I suppose. And we all get to enjoy the splendor of the Stanley Cup. But yeah, it's a little bit different than last year because this is kind of home base.
I wish we had like a Guillermo. Like a Guillermo, you know, Jimmy Kimmel sends out Guillermo to like
you want the
Super Bowl
shticks coming to the NHL Media Day.
Like it would be so, because he actually asks really good questions, even though they're funny.
Good writers.
And, yeah, they like, but sure, but they like it, right? And he goes around with the tequila, like he'll be a wand that he snuck in, and then he'll like, just pour tequila in little cups that he snuck in.
I'll say this: NHL media is much more boring and dorky than Super Bowl and all of those. Where else does he go? Does he do NBA stuff?
I think he might do NBA. I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
Obviously, I watch Jimmy Kimmel every day.
Yeah.
But the Super Bowl one's great, and like then you see players will actually be like, "No, I'm not gonna do the tequila," but that's awesome. And then some will actually quickly like try to get off camera, and you see like their real personalities come out. I think this could be like pretty awesome with Kachuk or something, you know.
I understand.
Are you saying Tommy should bring a bottle of tequila?
Yes,
and try
that's
to get the
exactly
players
what I'm
to
saying. Make sure it's the good one, Patron.
Thanks. I do not want to jeopardize my standing with the National Hockey League and its PR team.
Just wear like a mustache.
Oh yeah. That would work.
Well, what's your Tony? Is it Tony?
Tony Gonzalez from the same guy that did the UFC event.
Yeah, just go with him. Yeah. And then just you need a little mustache, and then when they're like, "Who's doing this?" Oh yeah, it's Tony. And then
Tony guy.
You just go and change, and then you're good to go.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
Yo, right?
Yeah.
But I heard that dog, the one from the puppet dog.
Oh. Yeah, I
the
know.
dog. You wouldn't know.
The one from Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny one with the cigar. Help me out.
I'm gonna be
An
so
accent.
mad once I remember see the name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Not Triumph.
Triumph.
Is it
Triumph,
Triumph?
Yeah.
Yes. Triumph the
It is
dog.
Triumph.
I believe he's gonna be here. That'd be cool if he was at media day. I bet you he'd ask
He
plenty
probably will.
questions,
If
right?
anything, he
Why
will
would
be.
he be here? Yeah, if he's not going to media day, like I don't
Yeah.
know why else would he be here. So yeah, I'd assume media day.
He was here last year too.
So TNT has the cup. I thought I mislabeled the stage that there's a section in the corner when I was doing the oil stream yesterday from the rink that they like took out the seats, or they built a stage on top of the seats. And if there's a tie into TNT, then they get it as a rights holder. They could bring him in. He could do bits with the players and stuff like that, which would be good. That's what the NHL needs. It needs to kind of be more in the regular discussion in the U.S. because that's how you build the game. Although the league, this is another record-setting year business-wise for the NHL.
Really?
So they are doing good things. Yeah. Last year was. This year is again.
That's good because, well, as far as the finals are concerned, people know who McDavid is. They know his name. You know, the U.S. knows who he is. Well, majority of them, I feel like. But, you know, they want to see him win. They know he's the best athlete in the world.
Gager took a shot at you.
Oh, what now?
Patron is not good tequila. And you want to know something? I will throw out there. Gager knows is good tequila.
Yeah, he does.
So yeah, get the good stuff. Patron. Gager says no.
Joaquin.
Gager says something else.
I couldn't think of another one off the bat.
He's a Don
Okay.
Julio
Yeah.
guy.
So I got called out, yeah.
Gager, thank you for the
Julio,
smoky and the hot dogs on Friday.
Thank you for the chicken
I
sandwich.
appreciate that.
You know one thing, can I say about Gager? I'm glad I got this platform to say this to you. Yeah, I'm going to call you out right now. So when the Oilers were down 2-0, okay, the Kings, he's like, this team is not, I won't not say everything that we discussed, but he was just basically saying they're not good. And I'm like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to concentrate and watch because he was asking me, hello.
Doug Maclean now with us here on the Hangout. You're coming just at a perfect time because Jasmine's going to call it Joaquin Gage for something.
Oh, okay.
So
Perfect.
he
I love
basically
it.
didn't believe in this team. And then he's like, where are you going to go watch? And I was like, I'm going to go watch, you know, I'm going to probably go to my parents, watch with them. And I'm going to concentrate. And he's like, concentrate. And then he started burning me on their show about concentrating. And look what that did. Look where the Oilers are now, Gage. We will have a tequila shot together. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I was expecting a bigger shot at Gager. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie
that
there.
wasn't even a shot
Well,
at
That was
I
just-
mean, I just, because you know what, Gager will be more savage with me at
Tell
1
him he
o'clock.
smells
so.
like cabbage or something. Like, it's okay.
That was
That's a shot.
I went to go watch a game and I wanted to concentrate, and Gager mocked me for that. But let's go have a shot together.
Because he can be mean. And I'm going to get it later, so I'd rather just leave it at that.
clever.
That's fine. That's fair.
I'll say it to your face. There.
By the way, so this is thank you to everyone for listening on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, tune in iHeartRadio, watching on YouTube or listening on podcast. I think I got all the technical stuff sorted out. They always change settings and forget from on locations back here. So I think we're all good to go. Now on the Hangout, Benny the intern, Tom Gazzola, Matt Iwanyk, Jasmine Sidhu, and Doug Maclean with us here. Doug, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Matt? Yeah.
Oh, I'm great. It's Riverhawks gets going tonight.
Yep.
Stingers are underway. Elks Saturday. Oilers Stanley Cup Final tomorrow. And the wind has died down slightly.
Yes,
Like we're not having
thank
those
you.
40, 50
No.
kilometer gusts right now, which is
is
so
good.
things are great.
Yeah.
I did see a few more things fly off our balconies from our building yesterday. Just a couple making their way south.
What was it?
One
Furniture?
was a balloon.
Okay.
Like somebody had their birthday. And they got those fancy balloons. And then the best one I've seen fly off was like the cushion for like one of
Oh,
those lounge patio lounge seats. And that thing
Just-
went flying.
just
Like
gone.
it like we're on 100 and what, second Ave? Third Ave?
Yeah. 100 yeah, between 100
this
second and
thing
103.
might have made it down to Remax Field. This thing had just sailed. I was like, wow.
I feel bad for those people that lost that
Where's
cushion.
our cushion? Well,
Yeah.
we didn't tie it down. It's in the river.
You know how, like, with the wind, like, you may not feel this, maybe Maddie might, but Tommy and I, our hair, it gets all messed up.
Just got to put more Swedish hair and cream.
I
in there.
absolutely messes with my hair.
Good.
Maddie's got good hair.
I know he does. He's already had today. That's why.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
usually like I have like a freezing spray I have to use to keep it.
Really?
It's got to be or whatever.
Oh,
whatever that
wow.
stuff, and it's a freezing. But otherwise my hair gets messy and it bothers me.
Fancy.
I don't like wearing
Naturally,
hats.
my hair's really not now. It's very curly, so I get it. I totally get it from years back. Yeah,
Curly hair.
totally.
I
Very
can't
curly.
picture that.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. You'll laugh. When I was working at the U of A. Yeah, it's a good
I
one.
like this.
I like curly routines. Volume. What's up?
Rip City Step worst rant of the year, SD. Big Uke, little disappointed in that quote unquote rant. VR, I was expecting a throat punch, not a gentle caressing of the chin. So, Gager, I hope you felt that one.
Yeah.
You know what? It's because we had a guest and I didn't want to be rude. And then him be like, oh my God.
Okay.
I'm good.
Gager
Fine.
was saved by the bell.
That's right.
There.
You're welcome.
Right?
No problem. You're welcome.
The EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts with more than 2 decades of helping Canadians through life's transitions. Canadian storage provider by Canadian Sentinel.ca for more information or to find a convenient location nearest you. Doug, how are you feeling about the Stanley Cup Final coming up?
I mean, I'm always a very nervous fan, so I mean, just inherently I'll be nervous. But yeah, look, this team is playing extremely well. So it's hard to...
Can I jump in quickly before you
Please.
continue?
Yeah.
More nervous this year than last year? Or were same,
Probably the same.
less?
Probably the same.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just nervous all the time when it comes to this team, but that's more me than it is a reflection on the team. Look, they're playing really well. And they're, and I think the one thing that stood out for me in going to games in the playoff run has been when they've had struggles, they've had a tough period, a tough stretch, they can reel it back. And that to me is something that I'm not even sure they were as good at that last year as they are now. And so, like, even you look at the Dallas in game 3, it would have been decent start to the first period, not great in the second, and they reeled it back. And the third, they gave 4 shots like they did throughout every third period. So that to me makes me feel a little better in terms of even when games might get away from them for stretches, they can pull it back in. And I mean, that's going to be key, I think, against a team like Florida that just will pound you. But I think this team can deal with that. So look, I'm confident. Are they going to win? I don't know. It's 2 really good teams. So who knows? But could we be celebrating in 2 weeks? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility by any stretch. Or 3 weeks.
No, I was going to go. I was going to say, could we be
2.5.
celebrating in a week?
2.5.
I was trying to say, sure, 2 is like 2 would be, it's 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, because game 3 is not till Monday, right?
Yeah, game 7 is a
game 4 is then a Thursday,
Yeah.
but then game 5 is the Saturday. And I was trying to
7's
think,
the
like,
20th,
I
I
don't
think.
see a sweep coming,
no.
but I could see 5, truthfully. And that's why I was just trying to do the math of when would 5 be. Like, the Oilers could take 2 at home. And they split in Florida, it's over in 5.
Could be.
And I don't think that is a crazy thought that the Oilers could win 2 in Edmonton, sweep in Florida, or split in Florida. With how well they're playing right
kind
now.
of done that this postseason.
Exactly. That's why I was just trying to do the math of what did it do? I was going to be like, could it be a week and a half? No, at minimum 2 weeks, but no, I guess that's a week and a half still. Yeah. Jasmine, how you feeling?
It's interesting that you say you're the same. I actually feel much calmer.
Okay.
I think the odds are a little against Florida at this point.
Is that because of home? Do you feel just by the nature of where this team's at, the home ice? Like, what's changed that for you?
And that they're healthy.
Yeah.
I think they're healthier than Florida.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, no one ever knows, but I think it seems like that's the case.
And I think Bob, because they call him Bob in Florida, I don't think he's as good as he was last year either. And
He was
Stu is
really
fine.
good in the first couple of games against Edmonton.
And then
Yes.
Edmonton figured them out.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
But it was too late by then. They're too injured by then. It was 1 goal by then, right? So I think every like there is a calmness in the city.
And then Benny brought this up on the Hangout yesterday. I guess the only other thing I would look at, if I'm going to go goaltending matchup, this break that Skinner had, is this good for him? Is it bad? Like, that's going to be the big thing I'll watch, I guess, tomorrow night is, can he refine that form after sitting for, I don't know how many days it's been. The other side to that, when Vegas ended and Dallas started,
there was a gap there too.
there was a decent gap in that one too.
yeah.
And he got it going. Back-to-back shutouts?
Yep.
Did it go from end of Vegas to the start of Dallas? Back-to-back shutouts? Or?
No, it was the last 2 games of Vegas.
Yeah.
He shut out.
Shut out. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then, allowed 6 game 1 against Dallas.
And came
But
back
5
with
in
a
the third.
shutout.
Yes.
It was shutouts
Game
in
2.
3 of 4, right?
Yeah. And then came back and shut
So then that kind of should dispel a little bit my worries. But that'd be the thing I'd just be looking at is, okay, well, does he still have that rhythm? You want that hot goalie to keep playing and to keep going like in the regular season. Here you're forced to have that stop. Is he going to be able to be right back at that? Because it's just like when I was seeing the Stars take shots, like I had all the confidence in the world that nothing was getting through. Like it was like, no, you're not going to beat Skinner. You're not getting through him. Like that's how good he was in that series.
In theory, he should, Matty. Like he should have that
Yeah.
rhythm and confidence. In theory,
But then,
He's
like,
done it
how
before. He's
quickly
been here
to get
before.
there.
Yeah. Now, yeah, he should. Will he? We'll find out tomorrow. But you can make the same case for Bobrovsky. I know Bobrovsky's like 10 years older, but all of these questions for both of these teams, I think, are valid because they've both been off for a week or so,
Yep.
right? Yeah, it is interesting. Like now that all the media has converged on Edmonton, talking to all them around the rink downtown yesterday, there are some that are just like, oh my God, we don't want to travel back and forth. Just win it, Edmonton.
Yeah, it's far.
There's Florida media that have stayed in Florida because they won't come here until Game 5.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's like all kinds of issues because last year the logistics of getting between here and the Miami area was horrendous. And apparently it's not great again this year. And so people are very strategic about how they want to do it. And then like people that have covered the entirety of the playoffs, the national reporters are just like, just one of you finish this in 4 or 5, please.
I see that.
Yeah, they're like, get McDavid his cup. Let's be done with it. We can all talk about it. He'll be better with media relations going forward as a champion. He'll be up there with Crosby and this and that. Like that. These are conversations that are being had by national media members, and I'm just like, oh, that's how we feel. We want to go on holidays, do we? and I'm like, but I kind of get it.
It's funny because I ran into James Duthie at the airport last year coming back from Atlanta. Like Duthie, his producer, myself, and my dad were like the only guys flying from Atlanta back to Edmonton probably to go from Copa America to go watch Game 6. But we were just joking because he was flying around with the Cup Final, but then went to Atlanta for Copa. And he was just joking, like, if the Oilers force a Game 7, they're dead to me. Because then you got to fly back to Atlanta or back to Florida. And then he's doing some other traveling. Just like, I just want to go home for a few days and relax.
Yep.
And then the Oilers, of course, forced the Game 7. And but yeah, it's the travel stuff. And often it is joking, like Big Uke. Media whining about travel is just the smallest violin. And it's joking around.
That's why we're mocking it.
Yeah.
But it does come down to that sometimes.
But it
It's
also
like,
could be
relax.
It could also be very stressful, I think, for some media, especially 4 and 5 this year, Thursday to Saturday.
That part is
you can't fly Thursday. You have to fly Friday.
Yeah.
If there's any real delay,
You're screwed.
yeah.
You're not
trouble.
getting here right away, and that could cause your work to have some issues. So that's part of.
Actually,
That's going to be an interesting part of that.
great point because there were delays going in. Remember that 1:00 start on the Sunday
Yep.
against Dallas? There were delays through Denver, shocking, for a bunch of people, media included, and not just Canadian, but American media too, that the American national radio broadcast, it's done by Sports USA, they couldn't get their crew to Edmonton in time for the game. And that's why Cam Moon and Louis DeBrusque
ended up doing it.
in a pinch had to step in. I mean, great tandem to have.
That's a pretty good backup.
Yeah,
We need to get a couple people out. We
Yeah.
got Mooner and Louis for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Like great get. 2 excellent broadcasters that just happened to be there, weren't really tied to anything, and they're like,
jump
"Can we
in.
get you guys the night before?" And then Mooner was telling me, he's like, "I just started prep right away," and it was like, away we go. And I'm like, "Well, Mooner, I mean, you've been all over
can do
this,
it, yeah.
this playoffs," and same with Louis, and so they just slid right in. But that was just, it's
of
an
that.
example of it. It can get a bit hairy, and it is stressful for those that do have to go back.
Oh, it is. And as someone who travels for work or overseas, like it is, I mean, yeah, it sounds all lovely. And it is, look, he's right. Like you don't complain about it, but it can be stressful for sure. And especially now, and another factor that, not to get into tariff talk, but a lot of the airlines have pulled back the numbers of flights going to the U.S.
Yes.
Out of Edmonton, out of Calgary, to Toronto, out of everywhere. So like there are fewer options. So it doesn't surprise me if people are gonna have a tougher time finding the flights they need, and
then prices will go up because
prices will go
there's
up,
less.
that's right.
That flight to
Exactly.
Atlanta is gone right now from Edmonton.
For
They
2
got
months.
rid of
2
it.
months it's gone. Then
Was it
it's
just
supposed
2
to be-
months?
That was the initial plan. It's supposed to be back.
Because I
after,
remember texting
but-
Murray McCourt because that's the one he took to get to the Masters. It was like 2 weeks later they stopped it. I texted Murray. I was like, "Thank God this wasn't a couple weeks early for you, Murray."
Well, Ken Belkey from Sinbin Vegas in round 2, he was telling me, he was like, "I'm watching flights every day." He goes, "I don't get it. We're a hub." And I'm like, "You guys are a hub." And he's like, "What the hell's going on? I thought there were like nonstops between Edmonton and Vegas all the time." I'm like, "There were, till like the tariff stuff happened and people are refusing to go out of principle." And he goes, "Tom, it's going to cost me $1,100 American one way."
One way.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like, you better get those sponsor bucks, buddy, because like, and Ken Ken's great beat reporter, but yeah, he was telling me about the pricing, and it's like he's the one footing the bill because his show and his website is founded by and paid for. Like he's the guy, right?
Yep.
So that's on him, and when you're like you own a small business like that, like that's a heavy burden.
Oh yeah, for
in
sure.
a pinch like that. So it was just interesting, but it is kind of funny because this is the playoffs of that travel issue and extra stress, I guess would be the right way to describe it.
Do you think that's why it's so prolonged till Friday as well? Because of those logistics?
No, they actually said last year in the off season that the extended Stanley Cup Final was the kind of template they would go with moving forward because they did that. Remember the 2 days between travel?
Are you talking though about the delay to start this series?
That's right.
Or during
Like,
that they waited since last week?
yeah.
NBA related, and I think too they
NBA.
wanted the whole NHL like team that comes in and takes over to set up operations. Like it's a compound basically, that whole area around the arena, and I think they wanted to give them a day or two extra to get settled in. There's people coming from the combine in Buffalo like today. Like they had to set up the combine because that's happening right now.
Yeah.
And they have a crew coming in. So it's like all hands on deck, and there's so many moving parts. And now the schedule in the NHL is like bleeding into every final is going into the draft and the combine, and then right away it's free agency. It's getting closer and closer together.
Yeah.
I wonder when the NHL will just do the NBA and just pre-announce the schedule. Like the NBA final schedule comes out, I think during the season at some point. They go, here's the schedule. It's just and it doesn't matter when the series ends. They don't start them earlier. If there's a week and a half break or whatever, they'll take the week and a half or whatever. But this is the NBA final schedule. I wonder if because it also allows them. Kells is performing tomorrow.
Yep.
At Fan Park, I think it is.
Yeah.
It allows the teams to go book
And do their thing.
book the acts if they want to really amp it up. It is the Stanley Cup Finals after all. Final or final?
Finals, I
They're
believe.
the Stanley Cup Final and
NHL's final.
and it's the NBA Finals. Reed and I were discussing
Yes.
this last week and how we think the NBA has it wrong.
The commission is very upset about it. Quinn Phillips,
I
she
saw
put
that
up a
on
post
IG.
yesterday.
Yeah.
She's like, for the last time, it is the Stanley Cup
Final.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like NBA Finals.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right.
There's only one final.
Yeah,
There's games within this final.
That's right.
But it's one.
Yeah.
Elks, finals. Here we go.
Anyways.
Oh my God, I was just going to ask that.
Anyways
Is
is
it
in-
anyways or is it anyway?
Anyways is incorrect. It's
Anyway.
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 It's anyway.
In any
Okay.
way,
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It falls under the I seen, which is
I
terrible
saw.
English. You have seen. I have seen. I saw. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's where I know people are annoyed by this break a little bit, but I do wonder if it just makes things easier if the NHL, like the NBA releases their schedule and the NHL goes, okay, well, we're going to do this.
They'd have to wait for the NBA.
Yeah. But I think they would know, and they would either the NBA, I don't know how things work. I don't know if the NBA and the NHL talk at all. But the networks would all know, like ESPN
network,
getting the numbers. They'd be able to, ESPN's going, yeah, the NBA has given us this for dates, and the NHL go, oh, okay, then we'll do this. So like it'd just be good to then just fully plan type of things. I did see Michael in the nasty chat. I'll throw this one out to you guys. Do you guys think there's any chance at all Florida runs out of gas? 3 straight finals, the bruising way they play at some point, you think the tank would run empty? No?
It's a good question.
And then, well, Big Uke, I'll just add this one before we get into this. I look back at Tampa going to 3 straight. That third one against Colorado, they got gassed the longer the series went. Is that something that plays into the Oilers here? Do you think that could play in the fact that the Panthers are in the 3rd straight Stanley Cup final?
I've thought about that, but then I wonder why hasn't it happened already? Like, did they get gassed a bit against Toronto and that's what stretched it to 7? I don't know. Like they're a pretty experienced team. I think you can figure out ways to navigate that.
They rested a lot of guys late
They
in the
did.
year.
That's
too,
right. Yeah.
And I think it was because of the preparation for this type of run.
Yeah.
I think the Oilers did it too, to
Sure.
be quite frank.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's where it might be different. Maybe the Panthers learned from what happened with the Lightning.
I also think that Avs team was a loaded roster in that Cup final. Like that, in my opinion, like if you look back past 10 years, that's probably the most stacked
But that brings up, you bring up an interesting point too, and I've heard people talk about this as well, that, in that case, Tampa, they'd won their cups already. Colorado had not.
Yep.
Are we seeing a similar situation here? Like, it's not like Florida's not going to be motivated to try to win over the next 2 weeks, but is there a different level of motivation that the others may have, having not, to your point earlier, Tommy, about like, McDavid getting his name on it. So I don't know, that
The hunger.
yeah.
If
Is
the
that
Panthers
different?
lose, the most of them could sit there and be like, well, I got a ring.
Right.
And I'm not saying that they're going to fully think like whatever,
of
but
course.
is that full, I'm going to, as the Sportsnet will say, lay it on the line
By the way,
entirely.
Don't be surprised if Triumph is here for the weekend game.
But if you have, like, whereas the Oilers, it's like what they will remember last year is the pain. What they will remember last year is the heartbreak. The Panthers don't have that to go off of.
Yeah.
And does that give the Oilers that little extra edge, that little extra hunger?
I'm with Maddie on that one. That's the thing, that to have a heartbreak hurts more than to love something.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
The pain to know that it's that close, and we all see it on McDavid's face.
I love the look of him and Leon post game after they clinched, full suited up, and just like very stoic. Be like, well, it's good to win. Yep, okay, touch the trophy. Sure, we didn't touch it last year. Like just very
badass.
businesslike. And I'm like, this is good. I think this is good. This is the right attitude. You're angry till you win. That should give some sort of edge
In your
out in the
guys'
universe to you guys. I like that demeanor.
Yeah.
legit,
Yeah.
that whole bench, the whole tap, all of that, like we got this, and then they were just monsters after that. But like in your own lives, like as humans, like people persevere when they are down, or they like when odds are against them, right? And they had a taste of something, and you want a taste of success.
Yeah.
But once you're already up there, you
you
know,
wanted
you
to
can't
get
really come
your-
down, kind of thing, right?
You want it again. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
but
like,
that's-
to your point,
it's
like,
one again.
but you're right.
Yeah.
The fallback is, hey, we already have one for most of them or some of them. Yeah, I don't know if that plays a factor or not, but I mean, what was the stat that of all the repeat matchups over the course
right.
since post 79 expansion, I think there's three. Well, there are three of them, and
It's been
the
other
team that lost year one, year two.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take that if that's what happens. But
Edmonton, New York, right? And then it was
Detroit, Pittsburgh,
Detroit, Pitt, and then
and then now
All
this.
those happen to have teams of Gretzky, Crosby, and now McDavid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And look, I mean, I'm old enough to remember 84. And look, people didn't know. I mean, it was the talk was very, I mean, I was 9 years old, but the talk was very similar then to now in terms of the Islanders are this juggernaut. They play a certain way. They'd won 16 straight playoff, well, more, so 19 straight playoff series to that point. And could the others figure out a way to overcome it? And, McClellan scores in game one. They get blown out in game two. But then they settled in and were fine. Again, we'll see if that happens here. But it's interesting how those dynamics can play. Because the Islanders are seen as a very similar juggernaut to the way people are talking about Florida now.
interesting.
No, you go.
I was just, I think it was the CBC did like a 25-minute feature where they dug up old footage from 1984. It's like how the Oilers got to the Stanley Cup Final in '84. I fell asleep like 13 minutes. It was like 12:30. So, but it had John Wells and a young Don Cherry, and it was just like, this is fascinating. Anyway, that's all I got for that.
Jared says Panthers will probably just get motivated by raining on the parade like a true villain. And that the other part, it's like
That's fair
if
too,
there
yeah.
and if there is a guy that looks like the villain to me, that would fully like Matt Tkachuk. Come on, Brad Marchand too. I guess I got to throw
Oh yeah.
they embrace that
Yep.
more than probably most players in the NHL. That if there is something driving them, it's not like those are players that I could see going into the series not about winning the cup, it's about keeping it from the Oilers. That's what gets them off. Like that's what they go with. Like I'm gonna keep this from you. I've got the cup in the end. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna have it even longer, just so you can't have it. I'm gonna take the joy from you guys.
And
Like
on
bullies.
Top, and
Yeah.
McDavid and Draisaitl and those guys keeping them away from a Stanley. Like that's a motivator. That's a good point.
No, it's true.
And I don't know if all players have that in them. Tkachuk seems like a player that would have that in him.
100%. I don't disagree.
Well, and he's a former Flame, and I think that you still hear him talk about that a little bit, right? That doesn't quite go away.
That line in, what was it, the little documentary that Amazon did where he's like, do they even have pools in Edmonton? And he's sitting there like on a dinghy
So
in his pool in Miami. You're like, you jackass.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So that might be the counter to this of all the teams that like going for it. It actually might be the better motivator for a couple of those Panthers is we want to keep this away from Edmonton. Yeah, we want to keep this away from McDavid. We want to keep this away from Draisaitl, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that happens. And you know, I know Tkachuk didn't play in the game, but he lost the Four Nations.
Yep.
In a big, you know, that one in Boston, as charged as that was a big deal for both sides. And maybe Matt Tkachuk looks at Connor in that one and goes, you got the game winner. Well, I'm going to again keep this cup from you.
Well, how healthy? Do we have any sense of how healthy he is? I mean, no one's talking, but
today, but
I admit I've watched the Panthers a bit. I haven't watched it game to game, so I don't. But you sort of hear some people saying, "Look, it looks like he's skating on one leg." Some people saying he's fine. Like it's
did have like what a good month and a half.
Yeah, after Four Nations.
Yeah. So
the things I saw more of, he doesn't look healthy in these playoffs. The one thing though is a decent break right now, as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that enough to just get him?
No, that's true.
Feeling where he needs to.
Yep.
And if he's not, like, hey, whatever, advantage for the Oilers and
take advantage.
Yeah, like in the Carolina series, he was more so of a body out there.
Yeah, that is true. Brock texting in says, Tommy, do you know why they have a 2-day break between game 3 and 4 and only 1 day between game 4 and 5? Yes, it is NBA related.
Oh.
Yeah. And initially that wasn't the plan. There was supposed to be the 2-day break. The NBA scheduling screwed it up.
They had the 2-day break between 4 and 5 instead to support the travel. Yeah.
The travel is long. So if you guys don't know already, I booked my tickets to Florida for game 6.
No update on the chart. Yeah.
Let me know because I have cancellation insurance.
Okay.
Which was very expensive, but you got to do what you got to do. So basically, hopefully the Oilers win in 5 because Fort Lauderdale is so ew. Don't want to go there again.
Sorry,
already been to Miami many times.
What is it again?
Ew.
Okay.
How do you spell that? Is that like EWW? Is it?
But it is.
Actually, there are some greasy parts of Fort Lauderdale. Like there's some super nice parts, and then there's other parts where you're like, ew.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm staying in Miami majority of the time, except one day for the game in Fort Lauderdale.
Long ass drive.
Right? But so my issue is I have 2 hours to cancel that flight. So I need to kind of see what's happening in game 5, before I know I'm going to commit to flying.
Oh, like 2 hours after?
Yeah, because
that's
I'm
it.
flying,
Okay, but that's the time.
Right.
Okay.
I'm flying midnight on Saturday, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah, that's right. So let's see.
And what's your route to there?
It's we have a quick layover in Denver. Illuminati.
Yeah.
But you know what though? I did a grace period because I actually want to go and have one whole day to like relax and go to the elbow room and like, go to the beach rather than just stressing. Like last time I literally flew in and out, right?
Yeah, that's tough. That's a long flight too, so.
I love that you want to put in some time at the elbow room.
Yeah, it's on the list.
It should be. It's the go-to.
I've only learned about the elbow room like these last couple of weeks with Belsey going down there.
All the Barstool guys were there last year.
It's
I
like,
don't follow the Barstool guys.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. Imagine what's a fun like. Okay, so imagine like let's take our good friends over at Hudson's White. Okay, and it's on the corner. Instead of the Strat being across or that new container park, instead of that being across the street, it's the ocean with like a 50-yard beach and then the ocean, and then they have 2 levels, and they open up the big bay doors, and they have bars at the top and at the bottom, and great little patio. That's how I would describe the elbow room. Same type of vibe. People pop in. You get a mix of like when Belsey was there, he was saying that there was like just some locals that were hillbilly types, and then like 2 seats over was a billionaire that was just as drunk as those guys. It's just this weird congregation of folks that have a great view and a great time. And
this picture is taken from like the beach
Yeah.
area. Like I've walked down the strip before,
Yeah.
so it's like it's the behind this photo is all the sand and the ocean behind it.
And it's on the corners. So that's how I would describe it. And when the draft was there, the McDavid draft, we spent a lot of time at the elbow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's in Fort Lauderdale, not in Miami, right?
No, it's in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, right across the beach and the ocean. And then
Are you throwing that up on the Wirecast?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Like,
Oh, you're using screen capture right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
and it's like an old school
Is there
surf
any
bar.
issues with that?
Like originally.
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I
Yeah.
just remember it being a bar that we like to go to.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was
Looks
surfboards
huge.
and
It
stuff.
look like is it
It's.
or not huge?
I think those pictures are a little bit make it look bigger than it actually is. It is tight in there.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think Hudson's is a good comparison.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably the
Ah.
same footprint,
Right.
but imagine 2 levels and
Okay.
the big bay doors open on the
was-
bottom and top.
I was very mad that I was not of age to go in there at the time.
Yeah, it's fun. Like
Miami underage.
Well, I was there for an NHL tournament. I was 20.
Oh, just
Yeah,
missed.
by a year, and my friends that I was playing against were of age, so they went. We were walking down that strip to go grab some dinner after we were done playing. There's a really good pizza spot that was on that same street. And we walked past the elbow room. We watched Matt Kachuk, Dylan Larkin, Brady Kachuk, and I think like Zach Wierenski or something step out of a limo right into the elbow room. Like, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lobby for a lot of, I guess, athletes and guys around the area.
I was gonna follow up with being like, you couldn't get an ID. And
No.
I mean, not that I would
I was
ever.
gonna say.
They don't.
I was gonna say, like, or you couldn't get snuck in somehow.
Yeah, you know.
I would have loved to. I just
Do the whole
I
backhand,
was
you know,
with my dad, and
yeah.
I don't know. I was just like, yeah, well,
Well, Nate the Builder's got to find a way to sneak you in.
yeah, yeah, that would have been nice.
When I was 21, I was down in Dallas with a bunch of friends, and some guys were 20, 19.
Yeah.
We went into this one place, and they're like, "Oh no, you guys are underage. Some of you are underage. You got to go." We walk out, and there's like 20 of us.
Yeah.
We walk down the street like 2 seconds. The bar owner comes running. I was like, "Well, you guys can come in as long as you don't drink. You're fine. You can come all. You can all come in." We're like, "Okay, like how are you gonna?" And he knew like,
20 people.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's a big
So
Yeah.
yeah, so he didn't. It was clearly not a big issue. The whole underage thing. They were like, "Yeah, come on in. We'll
some money."
turn a blind eye and go at it."
Just ID a couple people. Make sure they're
Yeah, that's
who's
pretty much.
21. I need to see your IDs for a second. Yeah, I don't need to see all yours now. We're all
That's
good.
right.
EST presented by Play Alberta. The June promo codes are out. Deposit 20 or more and use EST Casino to get a $50 casino bonus, or use EST Sports when you deposit 20 or more and get a $50 free bet on sports. Also, I think for new users, YEG50 to get a $50 free bet, or if you're a new user and haven't used that one yet, YEG50 to get a $50 free bet.
refreshed.
It is, but I don't think if you've already used it, you can use it again.
Okay, I see.
It's just like a rollover.
Okay.
So it's still there. Like if you have an account and haven't used
Yeah.
it, you can get that one done right now on Play Alberta. If you click on EST specials, Oilers to win the series in 5. The Gentleman's Special. It's plus 600. They did that one. They got it done. Evan Bouchard to score more points in the Stanley Cup Final than Verhaeghe, minus 139. And Jay's play of the day is already up. The Mercury plus 12. That's minus 125. Jay going to WNBA today? Is that what I'm looking
I
at?
guess so.
Look at that. And for those, I'll be on the lock shop again with Huss today. For the grandest parlay, it didn't get put up yesterday. Was trying to figure out how I can get the bets to Play Alberta with Dusty being gone. That got sorted out last night. So the grandest parlay will be up on EST today. And Huss and I promise you we'll look at Canadian Open, as that's this week. Lock shop parlay to throw up as well. So keep it locked on Play Alberta, playalberta.ca, and just click on the EST specials. But now I have access to the teams. So maybe I could just create some sort of requests and odds, get some weird stuff going in there. Very excited about that. I don't know if Dusty knows what he's done. We'll continue. This Hangout headline is brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. Premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time or your tournament today by visiting theranchgolf.com. They are the proud host to the EST Golf Classic presented by Play Alberta. I asked this question to Tommy and Benny yesterday, so I'm going to ask you two today. If there's one thing in this series that gives you pause and you go, if the Oilers don't win the cup, it's because of this. What is that right now for you?
I'm worried about the loss of Zach Hyman, and that's a pretty obvious one. But I'm just worried about the nature of the game he plays, the contributions he can make in lots of different ways, and just how that might spill through the whole lineup. And now they have the depth to fill. Don't get me wrong, I know that, but I'm just and the presence in the locker room. I mean, even just watching some of the stuff in Oilers Plus, you sort of and just get a sense of what he brings to that room. And not that he can't be in the room, of course, but it's still different when you're not dressing every night. So that's the one thing that just kind of, I think they can overcome it, but it just gives me pause.
I thought about Hyman originally when he first got injured, but then I remembered that the Oilers, their number one thing is adaptability. Yep. They can pick up those pieces where Hyman is not there. So that does not concern me. What concerns me is if they have a bad game one, if it is a blowout, if Stu's confidence drops because of that. Other than that, I think this is the calmness that I'm feeling, that everything is it's good to go. The depth is good. They're angry. They're hungry. You can feel that energy. So not super worried in that sense, but I'm more so thinking about what are Florida's flaws.
They don't have many.
Hence the injuries. Well, okay. I think that they give up bad, weak stretch passes. And if you have Dry or McDavid right behind you, they're going to score. I think there's more.
Hyman's good at sneaking behind. That's going back to missing Hyman. He's good at sneaking behind teams' defenses too. That's a good point.
And again, the injuries, I do feel like they're a little bit more banged up.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard to know this time of year. I mean, no one talks about anything. I keep having these visions of Zach Hyman reappearing, in Game 5 with some weird contraption on his hand.
He would need a Luke Skywalker at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, Kevin Lowe played with a broken wrist, and I think it was 87, but it's a little different when you're a forward. But
I said yesterday it's a little bit more. It's a bit of a complicated wrist break.
Yeah.
Too. So he's no chance of coming back. Because there were people asking, could he come back for? It's like no.
Speaking of wrists, Kane also had that surgery on his wrist, but he's 100%. We didn't have the Oilers didn't have him in the first.
Yeah.
Although he had a great start to the playoffs, I feel like he's petered off a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think there's more that he could be giving to the team to a degree.
He just needs another Phantom. It's okay.
A Phantom?
Yeah.
Vehicle?
Yeah.
We said he's going to helicopter in here now.
Oh, really?
That's what he was joking about. Apparently, that's his new thing.
Didn't he do that for a Blue Jays game with
helicopter to it? Oh, really?
Did he? That's
one
sick.
of those guys did. It's okay.
I don't know where you would do it at Rogers. I don't think you could.
Exactly. Where are you gonna land?
Yeah,
maybe
on the
Fort
Bravin
Lauderdale.
rooftop. Or whatever.
Just right in the plat. Just clear the people, the moss pit out. Just why not?
Well,
He lives 1 minute away.
There are those empty lots that they use as parking that's supposed to be the
here we
second
go again.
That's right. Next phase. That's right.
Yeah.
Use that as a promo for the next phase. You can live here. Where
NHL did a YouTube 5-minute video on him yesterday. If you guys didn't see it, did you see it? I watched it, so I can tell you guys about it. It was just him at home with his kids and his fiance, just how he dresses and kind of prepares for the game. I forgot which game he was preparing for in this instance.
Game 3. It was the matinee game. Right.
Yeah. It was wholesome with the kiddies and how they're so involved in his life. Showed him, it's a good dad and. It was nice. It wasn't much. There wasn't much more to that video, though. I thought it'd be more interesting. No offense. His suit was nice. He wore the SB suit again. ESN.
SBs?
SBs, because I always say SDs, and then I screw up with SEs or whatever he was saying before.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know if there's anything else.
No, there's not much more to that video.
Was it more exciting than a 25-minute CBC featurette on the 1984 Edmonton Oilers?
Probably.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because if that YouTube video was 1 minute longer, when I saw how long it was, I probably wouldn't have watched it. Yeah. But it's nice at NHL. It was NHL.com, the one that did it, right? So.
But you want to talk about, they have a small army. Every possible room in that arena is dedicated to, it's NHL social, TNT, green room, this, that. And it's we can't, the media lounge that we've used up until the Stanley Cup Final, it's nope, can't go there. The entrance that we have to take yesterday got switched. It's only NHL personnel could go in the media end. You have to go upstairs. It was
But
everything
where do we have to
gets
go?
turned. Everything has gotten turned around.
We didn't have to go anywhere last year. Where do we have to go this year?
That was just yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, I will say if there's one thing the Oilers or the NHL needs to do better on, and for behind the scenes, it's getting people from the press box downstairs.
yeah.
Because there's only one elevator, and everyone converges, and all the media are trying to go. And I remember there was last year, Jeff Jackson, a bunch of Oilers were waiting in line. And at one point, Jeff Jackson, I'd like, excuse me, guys, we need to go, and like had to push media away.
Wow.
And like put his arm out and get the Oilers brass on the elevator so they could get down because they needed to get into the locker room and stuff like that. And I remember just standing there looking like, yeah, they probably should have been given some sort of entryway in that. So some sort of figuring out that process.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if we have to like get up to the press box a different way.
There
for
is a
cup
stairway
final or
that
something.
goes down for
I
us.
always take the stairway down after games.
Yeah, it's easy.
Oh, it's
very, very easy.
As a fan, it's way easier.
Yeah.
For sure.
What else was I thinking logistic wise? Well, the NHL is not perfect. When they take over, like with the Heritage Classic last year, we know Commonwealth was built for 48,000, but they expanded to 60, and then now it's down to 55 when they put the new seats in a decade ago. But the league put like merch trailers at pinch points of the stadium.
It was bad.
And it cut people off from flow,
Yeah.
like traffic flow. So that kind of stuff does happen. And essentially that's where like the Oilers and, last year the Elks and the Oilers are just like, well, we're not in control of this. We could make a recommendation how to use our building better, but the league has final say
On how that's done. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was walking around the concourse yesterday, and there's been people that are like, oh, the concourse, it gets stuffed. You get stuck here and here and here. And then I'm looking and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see why. There's like 10 feet of room killed by all these little extra kiosks of sale points, like little food station, extra little mini bars and stuff like that. I'm like, when you think about it, all that extra space, you're killing it off to sell more stuff. And sure enough, you're going to get held up and people get frustrated and mad at lines. And I'm like, I can see why.
And it's all avoidable. There's always other solutions to that on the event management side, but people don't tend to like to do that extra. Well, there's the money
the
piece, but they also
dollar
think,
bills.
but to your point, you get frustrated people, you get people who don't want to stand in lines. Your dollars are doing this, not doing this.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
Those merch points at Heritage Classic were the dumbest.
we just didn't move. Like we just would go to our top of our section,
Yeah.
and whoever who's friends, family who were around would come to us, and we just stood there because there was no point moving.
I wanted to do just a full lap.
Just to
so I
see
started
stuff,
at the
yeah.
southwest part, got to the north part. They had two merch points where it's very thin and then it opens up, but
Yeah.
it was just like, okay, it took like a bunch of time to get past those two. I got all the way around to the southeast side, and then somebody's like, it's jammed here. You can't get through. You got to go back the entire way. I was like, what? And so I had to go back the entire way because they put another merch stuff on that little narrow spot on the south side, and people are just standing in line and you couldn't get through it. And I was like, oh, that's not smart.
I remember that because I'm like, something's weird here. And then I noticed like a merch trailer, and then I looked and I'm like, there's another merch trailer, and why is there one there? I'm like, that is the worst place to put it. And sure enough,
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Hernan and Dahmer a bit, and they're like, yeah, the league took over and put things in stupid areas, and it just killed the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, same, Maddie. I ran into the same problem as you. Very frustrating.
The worst.
Funny because they wouldn't know again like the logistics of Commonwealth.
Well, and that's why good event people will lean on the venue owners to say, hey, we're thinking about this. What do you think? Oh, well, you're going to have problems. And maybe they did that and still didn't listen. Who
Screw
knows?
it.
But,
yeah.
those conversations should happen if they don't. Yeah. But
I wondered this, by the way. I was watching last round how with a minute left, in a period, everybody gets out of their seat and goes to the concourse. I can't remember, but I think that is somewhat unique to here, where everybody just leaves their seat.
Maybe to stretch their legs.
Yeah, it's a rush to get to the concession lines first or the bathroom line first.
Yeah.
You're trying to get there early, and you think if you go a minute early, you'll catch those things. I wonder if that's just ingrained. If I had to guess, if it's unique to Edmonton, and I don't know.
I think it
I wonder
is.
if it's because Rexall was so small and the people, like, you had to do that at Rexall.
Yeah, and
if you didn't go to the bathroom right away, during the period, you're missing the start of the next period.
Yeah.
And if you wanted food, same thing. And I wonder if it was just ingrained, like for some people, I'm going to go now. get in first so that I can be ready for the next period, and I'll miss the end of this period.
Yeah. But 14,000 other people are doing it too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. Like, my seats are way up. They were at Rexall too, but I think it's actually worse here than it was at Rexall. In terms of being able to move through the concourse, it's worse in the
that
upper deck.
is,
It's horrendous.
it's but that's the other thing too. I noticed, like, if I ever have to go meet up with somebody, I rarely do anymore because it's such a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
it's just
I noticed people. There's no flow. People just sit in one place.
Yeah.
They don't hide. They don't tuck themselves into corners or visit at seats. They just sit in one place, and it's like creating problems.
Go to the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the wall if you're going to
Yeah.
meet as well. Don't stand
But
in the
even
middle.
then, it's tough to do that because there's stuff to what you were saying before. There's
kiosks.
stuff along all
yeah.
the walls,
Point of
and
sale.
you're in the middle of lines. Like there's really nowhere to. Like I met some buddies after I don't know what game it was in the Dallas series at the top of our section, and again we're trying to like tuck ourselves against the drink rail, the back of the drink rail. But even still, you're sticking out. Like it's impossible.
Yeah, like when I went to the Suns game recently, they had an attendant in the bathroom just making the flow go. Like this one's open,
dude.
come on, okay,
Yeah.
next one, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
and it was fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't do that here, or
Because it would cost money to put them in there.
yeah, just hire another
Also,
body.
I'll
Yeah.
say from a men's room experience, that isn't an issue either.
That's true.
The men actually line up out. We do line up pretty good, and the moment you see one open, you go.
You go.
And whether it's a urinal, and even if it's you only have to go number one, and you see the toilet open, you go there. You go. That one's open. I'm gone. And I will say, an attendant would not help the men's line room
No.
because I think actually for whatever reason, we actually do that well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give the men. I don't know what goes on in the women's bathroom. For a men's bathroom, from my experience, you get in, you stand in your line. When something opens up, there's no time wasted. Somebody just goes to that one, and it's in a proper line.
That's interesting.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
women
true.
Am I
take
wrong?
a little longer.
No, you're
Yeah.
not. I mean, you could throw an attendant in there. It'd be the guy with the colognes and the
Yeah.
gum, and then he puts the towel on your
guy,
shoulder, and you have like a 5-minute conversation. Then you get the one guy that's like, "Man, you're doing a great job. I'm gonna give you a $10 tip."
He's got the EDM
Yeah.
boom box going on.
Yeah.
He's dancing. Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, Big Uke, the only thing we do efficiently. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We go
That's
in and
true.
out quickly. Like
That's fair.
we're in there for business, and we don't waste time. There's no attendant. Before the attendant can be like, that one's open. The guy's already there unzipped.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
will say that there's some guys that talk to you at the urinal. That's the worst.
Don't do that.
yeah,
That's
I'm trying to
awkward.
piss, man. You're trying to bark
Yeah.
about the period that we just watched. Like I
Never understood that.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm
man.
gone.
Yeah.
Max Bezozu, men can't zipper merge, but we can figure out the unwritten logistics of a men's bathroom.
And
Yes,
where to-
we can.
How
That's
to
true.
space yourself at the urinals too, not make it weird. Yeah. No.
And if like a handicap stall is open, if it's open, people do take it. That's okay.
Sure.
And when it's not needed, girls will go together in there.
In the handicap one?
Oh yeah, you can squeeze 2 of us in there. Sometimes 3. Why not?
Well, you guys have a nice chat.
Yeah,
you guys,
nice
you guys
chat,
like to
taking
socialize.
turns, yeah.
As you guys like to go.
How's my
as you guys go
hair?
powder
Yeah,
yourselves.
yeah.
Powder your nose on that. Like you guys have. So
Quick
that
check.
makes sense.
Yeah.
They should just have multiple big bathrooms and stuff. No, guys, we're in and out. We want to get in and out as quickly as possible. Because it stinks in there often
you guys
because of
stink in
us.
there?
Like, do you
So
guys?
we go in and out.
You have like the 3
We don't need
sinks
attendant.
as well, or the 4 sinks. Like with women, they need a separate station with a mirror and just like a shelf.
Oh, you're saying a
purse.
makeup spot?
Yeah, and quickly like.
Yeah, we don't
it's-
need that.
Because then the other women are taking that mirror.
Speak for
and then the
yourself, but-
sinks are so small. I can't believe we're complaining about this. And then the sinks are so small, so you can't put your bag and your drink and whatever.
the worst.
I know. Okay. Don't you love having a woman on the Hangout? Okay.
Well, we're learning with.
That's right. Hey, it's like
We can't speak for. Maybe you guys need an attendant in there. Maybe that's why you guys need an attendant to be like, hey, no, let's get going.
Let's go.
Where's
Yeah.
men room? No, we've got that covered.
yeah.
We're good.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm not going into
One
all
text
this
says you have to leave early to go to the bathroom here at the Saddle Dump too, out of Calgary. Yes.
Oh yeah, its concourses are as bad
Nah,
as the
that's
upper
a-
deck. Here,
Maybe it's an
but
Alberta thing
Bad
then.
rink.
Maybe.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage and your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Edmonton Sports Stock EST proudly presented by Play Alberta. Doug Maclean, Jasmine Sidhu, Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola, Benny the intern with you here on the Hangout. Thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, watching on YouTube or listening on podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. A reminder that coming up at 11, we do got the Lock Shop, myself and Huss. Noon, 2 guys and a goalie. EST afternoons, the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne And I believe at 7 o'clock tonight as well, we will have Edmonton Stingers action. Or not Stingers, Edmonton Riverhawks action for you, as it's their home opener and season opener down at Remax Field. 7:05, our broadcast will get going here on EST. So lots to come throughout the rest of the day. And it's also a big day coming just after 6 o'clock, as I'll just throw this one out there. It is Junior Draft Day, the 10th season of my CFL Fantasy Football League with Lieutenant Eric, Lucas Holt, and Scott McCord. Yeah, we get going. Big Memphis Mad Dogs now in Birmingham, the Barracudas, with the first overall pick. Relocate. It didn't work for Memphis. 9 seasons in the league, 0 titles. So Memphis is moved, packed up overnight. They're in Birmingham. They're now the Barracudas.
Vegas wasn't available, or like just
Vegas was available. Vegas was in the league the first year.
Okay.
But then they got relocated to Shreveport.
yeah.
And Shreveport won a title that year.
So
The Sacramento Gold Miners are the defending champions, 4-time champs.
4-time defending champs.
No, 4-time champs,
Four,
but
okay.
defending champ. The San Antonio Texans are also 4-time champs. And it's kind of known that the Baltimore Stallions probably will never see a light of day in our
Do you have the
league.
Atlantic Schooners in here anywhere? The expansion
All
team
has
that
to
never.
be American franchise.
Oh,
we're honoring the past,
Honoring the past, okay.
of the CFL in the USA. So big draft day tonight, though. So I'm feeling good. I'm not getting it. I know Lucas was like, "You guys going to do a mock draft today?" I don't want to spill. I don't want to spill. But I'll give you a first round mock draft, Lucas. Birmingham Barracudas will go Nathan Rourke. We also have a Canadian position that you could play a quarterback in. So
Oh, okay. Yep.
the Shreveport Pirates will go Trey Ford.
Ooh, going number 2. All right.
The San Antonio Texans will take Brady Oliveira. And then the San Antonio Texans will take Tyson Philpott,
Oh,
I think.
okay. That's a good mix. Couple quarterbacks, receiver, and a running back. That's
I was nervous going to this as the 4th pick because I'm like, well, 2 quarterbacks, like they're right off in a spot. And then there's still Brady.
yep.
And I'm getting the 4th pick. Like, and then it just hit me a couple of weeks ago. There's a couple good Canadian receivers that I could utilize my Canadian spot, but really fill up that receiver spot and get
early.
the flexibility and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I like Philpott.
So stay tuned. Tomorrow on the show, there'll be a recap of the Junior Draft as it's our 10th season. We have a logo. Tube Socks designed us a logo. Eric just tweeted it. Yeah, we're professional now.
It's nice.
I like it.
Thank you. Actually, I'm going to send this to Benny
Yeah, I was gonna say, send it over.
so you can put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
We're just legit now.
And you going to a Denny's?
We are going to Denny's.
What?
I've taken it to Denny's.
It used to be at Shanks.
Well, Shanks is closed though, Tommy.
Yeah, I know, but like find something similar.
Well, so we have to, but now there's a number of reasons. I need it. I'm taking it to the West End for. You normally wouldn't, but I am. I did want a patio, but I don't know if the patio is going to be useful today. It's going to be.
It's a little chilly.
Yeah, it's going to be like 19 degrees, but the wind's only 10 kilometers, so we'll see what it's like. I doubt we'll be on
Maybe
the
if
patio.
you get a sun spot rather than a
And
shade spot.
it's like we can't go to something that's too classy
Why not?
because that's not our league.
Sounds like a McCord thing.
That's not who we are.
Go to like the
Like
the
Shanks
middle.
wasn't classy.
No,
we wanted
it
a
was
Shanks.
functional.
Yes.
Go to something that meets in the middle. You can get a happy hour probably, like a Joey's or a Cactus.
They changed
That's
their
too
happy hour
high-end.
menu.
Oh,
I'm
did
not
they?
happy about
That's
it.
again, it's too classy for what we are.
It's not. It's just in the middle. That's my like casual.
But
You're casual.
Yes,
You're
that's-
bottle service lady.
I'm explaining that for us, that is too high.
Yeah.
That one is like we needed.
Local.
No,
Locals in that
it's
category.
not-
Locals
it doesn't
still
fit who we are.
How about Sugar Bowl?
I was
go to
thinking
Sugar
about
Bowl.
where.
Good. Go to Sugar Bowl. They got good beers there.
That's not
University.
bad. But I needed to keep it West End. Oh, okay. I wanted to keep it West End. Somebody is on call in a way, so I wanted them to be ready to go if the call comes.
Yes,
type
yes,
thing.
yes.
And like I did think local. Like local was on my mind as a place, but it doesn't fit the vibe that we are going for.
The
type thing.
vibe.
So
the
it's
aura.
I'm
Benny?
Yeah, the aura.
The aura.
yeah. So and then look, Denny's. They've got booze.
Well, done.
Good.
Say no more.
You can get it any time of the day. The only place that's open 24
Is
hours.
anybody's
Which I
birthday?
still
They
don't
can get a
understand how they're open
breakfast.
for
Yeah,
24
right.
hours. Does anyone explain how they can serve alcohol 24 hours a day? Does anyone have that
Oh,
answer?
good.
At Denny's, they can do that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I know. Not that I
why don't we
would
ask?
want to do that, but I did not know that.
There's our logo, courtesy of Tube Socks, on our screen. So thank you, Mr. Socks. Wait. Yeah, he prefers Mr. Socks.
Mr. Sock.
Well,
I prefer Steven.
Jay was last year, kept calling him Tube.
Ah,
And then he's like, yeah, I don't like that one. I was like, Socks? He's like, yeah, I'd prefer Socks. So Mr. Socks.
okay.
I think Mr. Tube Socks is a little too formal.
It's too long.
Whatever Tube Socks wants, Tube Socks gets. So if it's socks, then so be it.
There's your CFL fantasy talk for today. The Sacramento Gold Miners looking to repeat. Actually, the final thing that I will say on this before we move on, because I think people may be a little tired of this. If the San Antonio Texans or the Sacramento Gold Miners do win this year, they will have account for 50% of the league titles through 10 years. So big battle between the two.
Dynasty.
The other two are at the bottom. It's clearly two top franchises in this league. Sorry to Mr. Lieutenant Eric. Although I do know that there's a lot of people that would be on Lieutenant Eric's side. Spaded Welder says it's called the liquor license. I know, but why are other places not allowed to?
Reddit says 9 a.m. They can serve after 9 a.m.
But when does it stop? Because you could go late at night. You could go at like 3 a.m. and get a drink there.
I think you're right though.
That's the point I'm trying to figure out. It's like
cousins go there.
it seems like you could get a
'Cause
drink
I think
whenever
the
you
earliest
want it.
Alberta law, I think 10 a.m. is the earliest you can get. So you'd have to get some special provision to be at 9 in the first place. Because they'll do, I mean, and places will do that obviously around World Cup and things like that. You'll
Yes.
get early.
Like,
but,
why- if
but those
it's-
are narrowed.
If it's liquor license, why isn't Hudson's just open longer on
it's-
some
but-
nights? Like but they shut down and things. That's where I'm just, what is. Also, Lieutenant Eric does all. We went to Muggins one year. The regulars were pissed. Same thing happened at Smitty's Lounge Westmount. Well, Smitty's Lounge Westmount was an awful choice by me. I will give that one. That was maybe the worst location. Muggins, we were doing the draft. I remember it was the year the Raptors won the NBA title because the Raps game was on. And some guy looked at us and he's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we're doing a CFL fantasy draft. And he's like, why don't you do an NFL one? And we're just looking at him
Oh
like,
my God.
well, we're Canadian. The league, the CFL is about to start. An NFL draft in June doesn't really make sense. Which reason would you like us to give you right now?
That was not a smart question on that person's part.
I also got a hit and run in their parking lot. So, I was hitting. I didn't
At
hit
the
someone.
Smitty's, at the Smitty's one or the other
The
one?
Muggins at Muggins. So
If I had to guess, liquor laws, I think it's 2 a.m. in Alberta.
Yeah.
most
Earliest-
places at 2.
Yeah.
Earliest is 10, and I think you're right. Latest
So I think
is
it's
2.
2 to 9 you can't have alcohol. Perhaps the perception that we think. You have it 24 hours.
Although they'll like call last call sometimes like 1:30. Like,
yeah. Fair enough.
Daddy wants to have another beverage.
I'm going to Kelowna this weekend, and the wineries have it till only midnight. Isn't that lame?
No, they're not bars.
Yeah, and they're only allowing my cousin guys to serve wine and beer.
Oh.
So there's obviously gonna be a parking lot party.
Oh wait, this is a wedding.
Yeah.
So the winery's closing at midnight.
Yeah.
For the wedding.
For the reception. They're having a reception at the winery.
Oh, that actually surprises me then.
It
I
does.
thought you were just going to a winery.
Yeah.
No,
And I'm like, well, then
no.
that would assume they close at a certain point.
No. We're doing a big Indian wedding.
Oh, that one actually surprises me.
Yeah, it surprises me too. And they had to cut like the guest list as well, because usually we have whatever average of like 700 people.
That's
right.
Small,
This
very
time
small.
it's a very intimate wedding. It's only about 400 people.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I know. Right. But yeah, they're closing at 12, so that kind of sucks. And it also sucks only serving beer and wine. So yeah, gonna get the bottle service in the parking lot.
You do what you gotta do.
It seems like it fits you though. You get your wine. What else did you
I'm
want?
good, but
Oh,
there's like our dads and stuff like that are
no,
not
yeah,
gonna
that's
drink
not there.
wine, right?
not beer.
They don't drink beers like you guys drink beers. Like they'll have a beer or two, but they like to have their scotch.
And
Yeah.
They like to class it
Yeah,
up.
the classy.
They like to class it up.
This is a funny text before we get to that
Yeah, no.
liner. Jeffy texts and says, I ended up at Denny's after a stag at like 2 a.m. and they said they couldn't sell us booze that late, to which my buddy replied, Denny's has rules? Good text, Jeffy.
I was there after my brother's stag, and we got served, and it was after 2 o'clock. I'm pretty sure.
No wonder.
I'm gonna have to maybe I'm wrong on that one. The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink legend in 1952. A drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor. Longdrinkhouse.com/Can is where you can enter your postal code. Find a liquor store or establishment nearest you with the long drink in stock. Also, they have the deal with OEG. So if you're at the game tomorrow night, you could pick up a long drink. Tommy will be at a Canadian Ice House tomorrow as well for the GCLT's Old Stream pregame show, 5 o'clock, as the game will get going. A little after 6 o'clock, especially with, if it was like last year, the bringing out of the players and then the cup and all the little ceremony that's going to happen for the game. With that, I'm going to get to over-under for Play Alberta. Again, deposit 20 or more. Using the promo code EST Sports, and you'll get a $50 free bet. If I put the percent at, let's say 30%, what's the over/under like chances of Stu Skinner possibly winning the Conn Smythe?
Wow.
I'm under on that one.
Are you factoring in that the Oilers win?
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
yes.
'cause-
Hypothetically,
yeah.
Oilers win the cup.
Okay.
If they lose the cup, he's the only player that I think could reasonably, like it did last year, get it would be Connor. Oilers go win this cup. 30% chance that Skinner could go and take the Conn Smythe with it.
Under.
I
Yeah.
think it's under.
Still, yeah. Just because of politics.
Like politics.
I don't know. I think they would, exactly that. If McDavid be the one.
I mean, if they win this thing in 5 and he gives up 6 goals, then yeah, I think then, and again, that's fine by me if he does that. But I think that might be the only scenario in which that happens. But just because I think, to your point, I think even just the way he's playing, whether it's McDavid, whether it's Draisaitl, I mean, there's going to be other guys that I think will supersede. But so I'm under.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'll go with you guys. I'm under.
Yeah.
Take
The heel.
over and beat some credit.
He's like,
You want to know something?
He's like,
Take an over on that.
He's like,
Yeah, we're making it annoy them. Yeah.
If he plays as well as he did against Dallas and gets like 2 shutouts, and that's a high bar. But if he goes out and gets 2 shutouts and has a goals allowed average of less than 2 in the Cup final, as Benny, I think he's had it last week as we were discussing a little bit. Like, and if McDavid has a like, let's say this ends in 5 and McDavid's 8 points or something. I think there's a window there for him to come and snag it because of how well he played in those final games against Vegas and the series against Dallas. That like it was so good that we could forget the fact that he didn't play in for 6 wins. Like that's how good it was that now like actually you could, if it was any other year you'd be like, well, he couldn't because he wasn't in net for 6 of these wins. But it was like, so it's 2 shutouts or 3 shutouts?
3
shutouts. Couple of 1-goal games in there. He goes in and gets 2 more shutouts and 1 more 1-goal game and wins this in 5. I could put that at like a 40-45% chance that he might snag that over Connor.
I think it has to be a short series for that to be the case because I think he could still play well, and if it goes 7, I don't think it overcomes the 6 games or the 6 wins he did not have.
Yeah, if it goes 7, McDavid's getting enough points to
Probably
carries that, I think.
Yeah.
And then Stewart has some losses.
Yeah, even if he plays well in those.
But
losses.
if he goes like if we have 3 straight gentlemen sweeps, I think that there is it depending how like obviously if they win the games and he lets in 2-3 goals each game type thing, this goes away. But if he snags a couple shutouts, that's where I think maybe he can climb up that a little bit. So I'll put it at like 35-40% chance, so slight over on my over under there. I just believe in Stu more than you guys.
That would be amazing.
I'd be happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
I'd be happy
me
to be
too.
wrong.
I'd be happy to be
It's
wrong.
all good for me.
Legit.
Yeah.
Like
I
that'd be nice.
believe in these guys.
Max Pizzozu, no matter how good he plays, Skinner is never going to take away from McDavid's narrative. But like, there's also like the flip. If McDavid doesn't have an out of the world playoffs, maybe because he won it last year, and maybe some of those voters go, well, we're not going to give it to McDavid. He's got it.
Yeah, Stu, like you said, would have to probably throw a couple of shutouts in there, and has to be a pretty tight series.
Yeah, I would think it has to be a minimum 2 shutouts in there, or like, 1 shutout and 2 1-goal games.
Yeah, where he
like
steals the
Where
show.
he makes 35 saves.
Yes,
And they,
I think it would have to be at least 3 games where he's just ridiculously good, like we saw against Dallas and then the conversation I think turns between McDavid or Stuart Skinner. But yeah, if it goes like last year, Bobrovsky should have been the Conn Smythe had the Panthers closed that out in 4 or 5.
Probably.
He was the third. And then
sure.
he lost it
You got
with how he got played.
Yeah.
And McDavid came in and he took over the Conn Smythe, which is the trophy he didn't want to have. So
yes.
Oh, he got it. Eventually.
Barkov won the Selke Trophy, and he also won the King Clancy Memorial Trophy. For his
Are they announcing
humanitarian
that right now?
Yeah, it was announced yesterday.
Yeah.
King Clancy was yesterday.
Yeah, he won. He was the first NHL player to win both.
Okay.
Yeah,
I heard about the Selke. I didn't hear about the Clancy already.
Yeah.
Okay.
the Selke and the Clancy, and I didn't know he was a humanitarian. Doesn't matter right now because you're dead.
We hate you for 2 weeks, but then it's great. All
Yeah,
the stuff you
it's
do
great.
after that.
Yeah.
We love it. Keep being a nice guy then.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I missed a King Clancy one yesterday too. What Leon got was it 8th? Salty?
Sixth.
Sixth.
Yeah, he got one first place vote. And I
Which
know who-
apparently was-
I know
was-
who it was.
Yeah.
It was Elliot Friedman.
Elliot Friedman, yeah.
Oh.
What a homer. Gazdick's gonna be here, is he not?
He's already here.
Yeah, okay, I need to give him a hoodie.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see him today. I'll let him know.
I gotta
You'll-
go find
you'll
him.
see
I might have to. Oh, I guess I might.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll be around.
I'll have to bring it to a game
Yeah.
because I haven't shipped it to him. But I'm glad I've delayed now. I could just go hand it to him.
Yeah, he's here.
He's gonna be part of a crew of Edmonton Sports Talk.
Love that. Yeah, they have in the Moss Pit, they have the Sportsnet mobile unit that has like that studio in it. That they were setting up yesterday. Moss Pit, man, that's a different world still.
See, there hasn't been any fights finally.
Well,
that
that's
have been
good
shared,
because I think they
right?
beefed
Yeah.
up security and
I
Good.
thought there was.
Oh goodness.
yeah.
I did see a video from a guy getting slapped in there, but it was like he wanted it. He like leaned in and waited,
Yeah,
and
see,
then he
that's-
got
yeah.
knocked out. So
Brilliant.
Stupid
Yeah,
people.
that's-
Very smart.
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't lose any IQ points on that
Yeah.
one.
Or did he?
Oh,
Gosh.
boy. Brain cells. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Sarcasm from me.
What
Sorry.
they have done well logistically is they've shut down 104th Ave, and I think that's helped like dissipate some of the crowd.
Because how far they shut? Because when I go to the games, I actually go around the back. Like I'll go like the McEwen entrance.
Yeah.
So what are they shutting down? How far on 104 are they shutting down?
These
sorry,
are
No.
right in
I
front of
was
us.
Oh, there was a slap.
And the guy
I
just
hate that
going
video.
back and this.
I hate that.
What an
video.
idiot!
And the IQ points not leading.
I know up to like that Bossa Pizza in the city of Edmonton.
That intersection
tower,
there, okay.
Yeah, they have like barricades too that they
Oh,
put up,
okay.
and then I'm assuming it's to like 105th
Yeah,
Street, something
okay.
like that.
Yeah,
but
makes
it's just enough to like.
Yeah, just allow people to.
And it's good that
Move
you
a
don't have the
little easier.
cars driving by as the press conferences are happening and people. I think they're just getting people out of there, which just seems good. And they've gotten them when I've been doing the shows at the Ice House. They've been very efficient at clearing that out too. And then the crews go in and they clean it up pretty quickly.
It is pretty
I'm
like even
impressed.
when I come out of games and you go down there, I thought there'd be way more people down there, but it's pretty.
They just start clearing them out. Yeah.
pretty quickly.
The one thing about the Dallas series, and maybe why there was no fights in Game 5, was there was the weather that came in,
Yeah.
and they moved them all into Fort Hall.
Right.
That's right.
But it's funny because the storm came in and the wind was blowing, and I looked down to see, and they were just staying there, and I was like, well, this is bad. And then as it kind of like got less weakened, then they got evacuated inside, and I was like, oh, okay, well, the worst is past, but they're gone in.
That slap was just
Yeah.
what a
No.
dumb.
Yeah.
Thanks for finding that.
Yeah.
Ick.
Just like, and it just one, like, at what point do you sit there and like, bro, slap me.
Yeah.
Slap me as hard as you can, bro.
Just smoke me. Yeah.
And boom. Wonder if you get kicked out for that.
Sure.
You could.
But he asked me to.
Yeah,
Like,
but
he
I
asked
think
me to.
out of sheer stupidity and the principle of that, I would be like, okay, you guys got to go, go slap each other somewhere else, please. Yeah.
Doug, I got to ask you about the Edmonton Stingers.
Yeah.
How have things been for the start of their season from what you've seen?
They're 2-4. They were 7-2 sort of the first half of the year last year. I like this team better than I liked last year's
Yeah?
team. I think it's going to take them a little while to get into sync, but I like the balance they have on this roster more than what they had before. They lack a little bit of size, which does worry me, but I think this is a team that can do some damage, but it's been a bit of a slow start. They've had Vancouver twice. Vancouver's just running roughshod over everybody right now. But no, I like their roster. I think they're going to be able to play the way that Jordan Baker wants to play, up tempo, aggressive defensively. But it's been a bit of a slower start than I think they would have liked. But I like the roster.
I like the comeback that they had against Saskatchewan a couple weeks ago on the road.
Yep.
They were down 24 or something like that.
Found a way back. Yep.
And unfortunately, they fell a little short, but they got within. Well, I think they were a point down, or were they 2 points down of Saskatchewan? And then Saskatchewan finished it off in target score. Yeah, I think they were 2 down, or they were 1 down. They were one back because if they got a 3, if they got one more stop and they hit a 3, they would have won.
That's right.
And Saskatchewan went and hit 2 free throws, I think, to finish it off. It was a nice little comeback because I was watching part of that. I'm like, wow, this isn't good. And then all of a sudden, whoa, what is happening here? It's always a great time down at.
Yeah, they still do a good job. Like I said, they do a good job down there. Good environment. And again, the basketball's good. And like I said, I think this is a good team. I think they're gonna. It's like I said, a bit of a slower start, but I like what they have. I think it's a fun team. They brought in some. I mean, Sean East, the second, he was the leading scorer in the Romanian league. Played at Missouri, and he's averaging into. I didn't look this morning. He was around 23, 24 points a game. So he's been very good for them. Point guard that plays almost a similar style to SGA, not as big, but loves that mid range, can find his shot. So if you want to come out and watch a really fun young player, again, only a second-year pro. So, yeah.
The last game was against Brampton?
Vancouver Friday. They had Brampton last Wednesday, Vancouver Friday.
And did you went to Brampton by any chance?
So I broadcast the Brampton game. I didn't do the Vancouver game. I was at the Elks game. So, but I did the Brampton game.
They're here. They were here.
They were here.
Oh, okay. Brampton was here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were
because
both
Brampton, they're like Surrey. I went to see their crowd be all rowdy.
So they're not drawn well in Brampton. So
No.
They're not drawn well from what I understand in Brampton. So
wow.
which is weird because it's such a basketball hotbed in a lot of ways. But
Exactly. That's right. Like GTA, especially Brampton. Yeah.
They're next in action, at least on Edmonton Sports Talk, on June 6th at 6 o'clock out in Montreal.
Yeah.
We will have that game for you live here on Edmonton Sports Talk. So just tune into our audio streams while you have the Oilers game on. What did you think of the preseason game for the Elks?
Some encouraging signs, I think. Again, it's preseason. It's so hard to tell. And what always frustrates me a bit, and I get why they don't do it, but I don't. It's a bit baffling to me why starters don't play more. To me, Ford needed another couple series. He had a really good start. I thought he slowed down a bit. I mean, threw the one pick, which was well underthrown. Yeah. Let him just sort of recover from that. That's what I would have done. But
the other part to that too is they pulled him with like one possession left in the first half, and it's like, why not just let him finish the first half?
Yeah. I just thought
why
it was
do you need
a bit
to go to Cody?
Odd. Look, I think this offense is going to take a bit of time to get rolling. And so my bigger concern, which is probably a bit strange too, is I'm concerned about the kicking game in terms of how it supports that offense. And I sort of paint this scenario in my head of whatever. They start a drive on their 30. They march it pretty well, but it stalls at the opposition 40. Do you have a kicker that can come in and salvage 3 points for you to give that offense a boost and some confidence? Or is it, hey, Blanchard misses it wide left, and the offense feels like, okay, well, that was another stall drive. We didn't chip anything in. That's what worries me a bit of where this offense is at. I think their defense is going to be really good. You can just tell watching them. They were flying around with the football a little more like what we saw probably 10 years ago from this defense. So I like their defense, and that'll help. But I'm not worried about the offense. I think it's just going to take some time. What do you guys think?
Well, I agree. Well, that part I agree. Like Jordan McSimmick's new. Trey has to learn the system. There's a bunch of
whole new receiving core.
Brand new receiving core. They're going to have to learn it.
Him and Dunbar connected pretty quickly a couple of times.
And that'll help. Have a bit of familiarity there with him, and Gittins being back will help. But I like Mathis a ton. I think Mathis is going to have a huge year for them.
Small guy.
So I have
very small guy.
I have looked at the schedule, and people have heard this before. I could see an 0-3 start to the season, but still see 10 wins. Yeah. And and for selling of tickets and the promotion, that's not good.
No, it'll be.
But it's a tough schedule, and it is going to take a time to get this offense fully rolling. And it's just okay. Well, also how quickly can the defense then fully get rolling? And I think your point on the kicking is right, because that's been an issue, I think, for a couple of years with this team.
Beatty was supposed to fix it. He was a detriment to them last year.
Exactly. That's
and prior
exactly
to that,
right.
with Faithful, it wasn't like it's one of those. Yeah, you get a drive, and I'll use your scenario, 30 to the 40. Okay, you move the ball nicely. That's a good drive.
That's a good drive.
You've changed field position. But when you walk away with 0 points on the bench, your shoulders could just slouch and be like,
And that's like what I'm worried about.
And that's what we've seen. Whereas when this team had Sean White, let's say, he goes, crush that. Okay, good job, boys.
Yeah,
we're on the
we're
board. We
good.
got 3 points.
That's right.
Let's go out and do it again. And that's the difference that could make. And, Ed was on with the Morning Boys yesterday, or with Eric and Dave, and he was asked about the kicking. And, what I gathered from him was confident in him and allow him to have some growing pains because they think that there could be a kicker there.
He's got a big leg.
But there's a balancing act to also, like, you got to get going, and you don't have you can't be missing 6 kicks in the first 2 weeks type thing. You've got to get going. So I'm with that. That will be the concern, especially if that offense takes a little bit of time. I did like the fact that it looked like though they're Rankin and Leak are going to get going pretty quick.
Yeah, and I think they'll use Leak in a lot of different situations, and he'll be part of the return game, so that should make it for shorter fields for them too.
Did I see Rankin and Leak in a couple of packages on the field together? Or am I imagining things?
They might have been late, like because when Reek, I can't now. I'm combining them. When Leak stepped in, kind of late first half.
Yeah,
there might have been a series or
I
two.
Think it was right around when they scored that late touchdown, and I was like, "Is that Leak celebrating with Rankin right now?"
You might be right. I missed that, but you might be right.
Yeah.
You want to know something? That with Jordan Maksimic, I won't put it past them thinking of something like that.
Okay.
And I like that if they do that, because I think getting Leak, put him out. As a slot, like I think you can move him around a little bit.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I
No,
thought
you
for
might-
sure I
no,
saw
I-
them celebrating the touchdown.
Yeah.
I can't remember who brought it up with Jordan Maksimic though. The thing that I will be interested in watching with him as the OC is as brilliant as he is and can be. In BC the last number of years, they've had good running backs and they go away from the run. And you've got Leak and you've got Rankin and you've got Ford's legs who you don't need to design runs for him. He'll figure out when. He needs to figure out when and where to run. But you can't. You have to have that balance.
No, 100%.
And that's the thing that Maksimic hasn't shown enough of as an OC that hopefully he's better with, and especially when you have 2 guys now. And you could go, they're calling themselves Thunder and Lightning. You can balance that, and go 1-2 punch there. Utilize it. And that should help also open up the pass game. I'm cautiously optimistic about this season. If they could get a win or 2 in the first 3 games, I'll feel really good about this season. If they start 0-3, that snowball could come, but they get Ottawa in that 4th game. If they can go get that win, then I think then they're off like I think they will. If they go 0-4, it's a one. Cody Fajardo's coming in right away. Type situation.
And then I feel
And that's where we're in at that
and then I
point.
feel for our friend Evan Dom trying to support how this works, because another 0-3 start will be.
It'll be tough.
It'll be tough. You're trying to turn I think there's enough buy-in with everything that's gone on around this franchise in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
That I think they've built themselves a little bit of buffer.
Yeah.
But it can't be 0-4.
0-4 is just tough at that point.
Then it's like, here we go again.
Okay, with the buy-in and the off-field stuff, I found the Elks yesterday, and I think their digital team and social media team does a really good job actually, and has been for the last couple of years in some tough times. They did a quick video with Killam's post-game speech, and then they had the win cheer that they do, and it was David Beard and Jake Serezna leading it. These are 2 guys that just came back to the organization, and I was like, that's probably a good thing that these guys have just slid right back in.
It's just
And they're working with the coaching staff to recreate that bone doubly kind of let's be proud of this organization, this team type of thing, where you're not just bringing in hired guns and mercenaries for 2 or 3 years and paying them a lot of money, but they don't give a crap about the city and the team. To me, and maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I watched that video and I was like, oh, Dave Beard and Jake Serezna leading the post-game cheer. I'm like, I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a really good point, because I think even if you look at those 2 players specifically, there was really no reason to move on from either of them.
Yeah, you're right.
In terms of their production on the field, and in terms of what your point, the connection back to the city. Beard, obviously, and Serez in terms of what he's sort of felt being here for a while. There was no reason to move on from those guys. It made no sense.
Right.
And so you bring them back, and I think that's exactly it. So I think you get the players on the field, but I think that point about their connection to, and their belief in the franchise and the city, I think is a layer that I think is a valuable piece that maybe we don't talk about enough. So I think you're bang on. I agree with you.
The Serezna move was Ed Hervey, or not Ed, sorry Ed. It was Chris Jones trying to salvage the MBT move because I need to bring a receiver to work with him. And Toronto's like, we'll take Jake Suarez. Okay, whatever. I'm so brilliant. I will go find defenders and I'll bring in Ken DJ. And this will be great. And it was that arrogance of Chris Jones trying to make his quarterback decision work.
Yes.
Caused him to trade this solid defensive lineman. And now the trade in the end works great for the Elks.
Yeah, because we have both.
They've got Gittins and they got Suarez in the back.
That's right.
But it was one at the time I didn't like that move because it was just like you're getting rid of a top defensive lineman.
Leader.
Yeah.
Which
Which is so odd for a guy who built his whole career as a defensive mastermind.
Yeah.
I could that it just anyway, we don't have to rehash all of that.
no.
It just made absolutely no sense.
Kim Dichie signing, that guy was amazing.
And then as soon as Jones gets fired, he's like one of the first cuts of the team.
Yeah, well,
Just gone.
He was a weirdo in Arizona too, so.
Yeah, it's just you're right though. He was trying to salvage lots of things. And I mean the MBT signing in the first place was trying to salvage his own situation, which clearly did not
No.
work.
And I don't know about, but
levels.
it's like I still feel like if he went with Trey, he could have say his job was
He might
actually in a
have.
better spot because if they have a season like they do last year, but you see Trey and you see him improve, he can go to Larry Thompson at the time, didn't know who the owner was, and be like, we're improving.
Yeah.
Look, we've got this, and there might be a lot more grace. But when you go to MBT and you go, we're going to win football games. That's why we're doing this, and you start owing whatever it was.
0-5.
Yeah, that's not gonna help you with
Did
your
it drop
job.
to 0-7?
0-7.
Yeah, that's right. 0-5 before the firing.
Yeah, and then two more with Jackson.
Yeah,
and
Jarius
then-
goes 0-2, and then they finally win.
Yeah.
Because they went to Ottawa and lost. They went home to Hamilton and got smoked. And then Trey came in the fourth quarter threw 3 touchdowns. He went to Saskatchewan, and then they won the football game.
That's right.
And they finally got their first win.
That's right.
So
I missed the Hamilton game. So
I'm
Not a great game.
I was actually at the Olympics, and I was like,
You were at the Olympics?
last year, yeah. And so I was waking up and then just checking scores and listening in a bit. I'm like, oh my god, thanks, I'm out.
Yep. It was not good.
Yeah, it was not good.
What did CFL season starts this week? Yeah. Ottawa, Saskatchewan, Thursday. Toronto, Montreal, Friday, and then the doubleheader, Calgary and Hamilton, which, Tom, you'll see him on the broadcast. Yep. Dusty's on the Montreal game broadcast. And then it will be the Elks and the Lions, 8 o'clock. There's like 1,500 tickets left out in BC with Snoop Dogg.
Wow.
And the Green and Gold Kickoff Show, myself and Jay Milne, will be live at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, getting you set for game 1 of the Elks regular season, which I've already put money on the Elks winning that game. Ooh. Not going to lie, I'm Play Alberta. Well, the line moves slightly, but I saw yesterday afternoon the Elks were 6.5-point underdogs out in BC. That's dropped to 5.5. Now, it's at 5.5. I'm not sold on BC this season. I stand by that. I don't like their defense. I can accept the fact that Nathan Rourke will get back to what we remember him as. Yeah. I could accept that that's going to be a good offense. I don't like their defense. So that is the concern I have of the BC Lions. I think Saskatchewan, if I had to make a prediction right now, I would have them winning the West.
Really? Okay.
They almost
on
did
the
it
backs
last
of Trevor
year.
Harris?
Yeah.
Or has Jake Mayer become a...
I think it's still Harris. Okay. He'll get hurt at some point in the season, and Mayer will have to last for 3 or 4 games, and then Harris will come back. But they were a wind on a punt away from winning the West last year.
That was the wind from God or whatever in Montreal.
Yeah. And Winnipeg, he's taken some hits. And talking to Haas yesterday, like they brought in Dylan Mitchell. He hasn't looked good out there. Mm-hmm. Nick Dembski didn't exactly have a great season last year. Their receiving core, Ontario Wilson went to the Jets, so they don't have him right now. So that receiving core, I could be a little questionable to a degree.
Claros misses game 1, which is what it is. But
and he didn't have a great regular season.
No, that's and at some point, these teams, these dynasty dominant teams, drop off. It just happens. Like you can't maintain it forever.
Yeah.
No dynasty.
What did they start 0-3 last year? They had a bad start.
They had a bad start.
I want to say, did it get to 0-4, or does it just stop at 0-3?
I just know that the Elks schedule didn't time quite right. They ended up playing, I'm trying to remember, you might remember, they were a little bit later in the 0-7 run. Because had they played them earlier, the way the Bombers are playing, it might have been, but they ended up, I have to go back and look, but it was.
They might have played them in Winnipeg, but they played them here later in the season, like September.
Yeah.
And that's when they declared Trey is going to play the next game out of the bye week, and they just got smoked.
Yeah,
Trey,
that's right. But I think maybe I think they had the home game early.
0-4. Then they won 2 to get to 2-4, and then they lost to 2 more. So they went to 2-6. at one point. And then they went on a run, beat BC back-to-back, beat Hamilton, beat Sask, beat Edmonton, beat Hamilton, lost to Toronto, beat Montreal, and then there was playoffs.
Yeah.
So it was they got on that run late. So I do like Saskatchewan. I think the West is very tight, though. I actually could see Calgary take a step up this year.
I don't think anyone. I'm not sure there's any team across the league that's going to run away with things.
I think this might be the closest parity. I think we have.
like it.
Like Hamilton, even just last year, they went on a run where you're thinking, oh, they're going to make the playoffs here. And every team, I think, has a reasonable case to be like, they could go make the playoffs this year. I don't think there's a team right now that I think is the easy spot on the bingo card at this moment.
That's fair.
I agree.
And I hope that's the case.
Yeah, no, I think it makes for.
I would love a league where the worst team is like 6 wins and the best teams are at like 11 wins. And it's just nice and
every
tight.
night's tight.
Could be this year.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Jazzy's very excited.
So excited. Woo! Can't wait for regular season.
There we go.
I only like it when it matters, right? Like I don't like
It
preseason
matters
hockey,
as soon
preseason
as
NBA.
kickoff.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Okay. And I'm gonna chime on in.
Good.
All right.
We'll see what this team can do.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you what the line was for NBA Finals for the first game. Any thoughts on how this series will go? This is going to be an interesting series. I'm sorry there's no Cali teams, that the Knicks did not advance. Sorry, Josh. I know that's what.
I'm sad, but I haven't even texted Josh still on that one.
Yeah, it
I've
sucks.
left him on that one.
Defense.
What do we have? Game 1, Thunder minus 500 on the money line, 9-point favorites.
9 point. They're at home. 9-point favorites. That will not go to a 7. I don't think. I'd be quite surprised. However, Pacers are really unpredictable.
Best player in the series plays for Oklahoma City, and I think that will carry the day as it often does in the NBA.
Absolutely. In fact, I think that's like saying McDavid is the best player on the Oilers, and I think that's the thing with OKC is their adaptability. And I used the word adaptability before with the Oilers. Like they kind of do the same thing. Like they're gonna figure it out and win.
Who have the Pacers beaten? The Cavs, the Knicks.
They had a hard road.
Did they?
Yeah.
I don't think that's hard
I
right
think
now.
The Bucks.
Bucks, thank
They
you.
beat my Bucks, which was not a hard feat, especially now that we're gonna go
I
and
think-
trade off our best player.
I don't know if they're fully tested and ready to go against OKC. No offense to the Knicks. I think like for the OKC to me at least they had the Nuggets. That was a real test to me. I don't think I'm just not sold on the Pacers. Like I'm trying to figure, can this go 6 or 7? And I have a hard time believing it's going to go 6 or 7.
Yeah, I do too.
I like their depth. I like Indiana's depth.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I like Oklahoma City's too, but I just think again, basketball is just having watched it for years. It's that sport and it's not always where you have the best player, but if you have that advantage and a guy that can take over a game, and not that Halliburton guys like that can't, but it's not. I mean, clearly he's not the same level as Shea, but I don't know. I don't think it'll be a long series.
I think Siakam is underrated. I think he was underrated in a Canadian market, and now he's underrated with the Pacers. Like he is an inaugural player. He's MVP. Halliburton thought he was gonna win.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everybody saw the clip. Right? That was embarrassing. Like I would die if that happened
Lost
to me.
Aura on that one.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah. Look
He lost Aura. No.
Yeah, it's never announced an MVP. Like Halliburton's like this, and he takes a couple steps forward, and it's Siakam, and then he just stops.
Did his dad storm the stage or anything to like take out Pascal?
Right?
And that 3-pointer he hit with like 3 minutes left from like the logo, he's aura farming on that one.
That's the lingo of the kids these days.
Oh yeah, well, which I am clearly not.
Brain rot terms. No.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you. I like Siakam a lot, and I'm not saying that he is not. But I think, again, to me, there's just a bit of a different level between what an SGA can bring and some of these other bodies. But I like their depth, and I think you're right. I think there's different things that Indiana can throw at Oklahoma City, but
I love that.
The question I would have on Siakam, like I don't think Siakam's bona fide top superstar.
no, I don't either.
I think he's in that next tier, which is star,
Yep.
but not full. Like so, I don't see him carrying the Pacers to a victory. Whereas SGA is a superstar to me.
No, good point. I mean, Siakam did win a championship, did help Kawhi.
Help Kawhi,
Yeah.
but wasn't the superstar of that team. Kawhi was the superstar of that team.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, in my opinion, this will be a very exciting. We're gonna see exciting basketball. Even if OKC takes it, let's just say in 5, I don't think Pacers are going to make it easy. Tune in the last few minutes.
Which, to your point on that, like when I saw the 9 points,
yeah. It was
I
always
almost
kinda
wanted
like
like take the Pacers
Yeah.
to cover 9.
I'd say that's a bit high.
that. Yeah.
I mean, Indiana, even game 1 against the Knicks, they've proven to be a pretty resilient team, right?
Mm-hmm.
They find ways. And so,
And they could come back.
yeah, well, that's right.
They could be
They've come
down
back
by
well.
25,
Exactly.
and all of a sudden that game's not over.
Yeah.
They're going to find a way to march their way back into that
Exactly.
basketball game. Max Bezozu, Jalen Williams can take over a game too.
Guys can, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Lots of guys can take over games, but can you take over games when everybody else is focused on taking you out of the game? That to me is the difference.
Rip City, Siakam is a great Robin.
Yeah, I think that's a well
Absolutely.
said.
Like, not the guy that's going to do it. And as you say, like, was a great second to a Kawhi.
Yeah.
But I think he needs that Kawhi. And is Halliburton that guy right now?
I'd say, yeah,
That's-
I'm not sure about that, but
So,
Yeah, looking forward to
and then you
that.
can celebrate OKC victory.
Thunder up.
Thunder up.
can stop there on the way back from Miami.
I don't think about I don't know.
Don't.
I won't even
I love
think
that.
about
You
doing
live
that.
there, that's right.
Yeah, why would you go to OKC to watch the Thunder play? They're
I
your
actually
team.
would do that, but
It's your
Thunder play
team.
in a different arena, like Lakers or something. What?
This is your team.
Okay, I'll just go to Oklahoma City. That's like me going to Fort Lauderdale.
You are.
You're literally going
That's
there.
exactly what you are
Yeah.
doing to go watch your team.
Yeah, but-
Why wouldn't you go stop in OKC to watch your team?
Because Miami's not like 45 minutes away from Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, but it's a
I
lot
mean, from
further from
Oklahoma
Edmonton.
City.
It's a lot further from Edmonton
Yeah.
than OKC is from Edmonton.
Okay,
That's
what's
true.
the next sexy city to
Dallas.
OKC? Oh, okay.
Dallas is phenomenal.
You know what? Next year I'll think about
Like
it.
Oklahoma City's pleasant, but like if you were to go, first of all, it would take forever to get there, and then like it's a quiet town, but maybe the party could be good.
Yeah. And the flights are cheap in the USA.
Yeah, once you're down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once you get there.
So you do the Dallas to Oklahoma City. There, are you happy now?
I just say, like, you could
So
go,
I
like,
go to
that's
Indy.
actually-
It's
You're
basketball country. I go to Indy.
You're going
go
to
watch-
Miami. You might, on your way back, if it works, go stop in OKC, go watch a game before you come back to Edmonton.
Yeah, you go
It's your team.
Miami to Dallas, Dallas.
Oh,
up
I
to
see what you're
OKC.
saying.
Yeah, that's how you'd have to do it.
Like,
I
you're already
can't-
gone,
Can't miss the Oilers.
but you're
Yeah,
not. They're on
yeah.
different games.
That doesn't make any sense because I would fly back. I'm flying back for in case there's a game 7.
There's 2 days in between.
One day in OKC.
Sure.
Okay.
Just fly out that
Okay,
night.
so you're gone for game 6 to Florida.
Yeah.
Fly out that night to OKC. I mean, we're just
Yeah,
we have to,
Hypotheticals.
we gotta just
So
Yeah.
when's game 6?
Game 6 is Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, and you would fly out on so you should have you messed up your flights.
Oh, I'm supposed to fly on Wednesday.
she has cancellation insurance.
Well,
so
she-
we're
Yeah,
good.
I
Oh,
We're good.
Saturday nights, Oilers.
Yeah, see?
Saturday night's game 5. Monday the Thunder would host game 5, so you can even go watch your Thunder win the title likely.
Holy.
So you go Sunday to OKC, get
She's
to
thinking.
OKC.
She's thinking about it.
Yeah,
I can
don't
tell.
do that.
Monday
Yeah.
you're there, you watch the game. Tuesday you head off to Miami. That's the same day as
It's a
game
very expensive
6.
trip.
But it's going to be easier to get.
Just-
I think it's going to be a lot easier to
you
get from
imagine
OKC to Miami than Edmonton to Miami. So like you could do that on the Tuesday, go watch game 6, and then you make your way back.
I mean, I love this idea, but the tickets to the OKC game must be insane.
Let's get you tickets right now.
Because like OKC, I'd imagine they save all their money and there's not much.
it's an oil city.
Okay, so
There's
there's
a lot
in.
of money there.
It's
yeah.
gonna
You're
be,
from Edmonton.
It's like
tickets
the
will be
same
very
size as
expensive.
Edmonton. It's
Yeah.
like a million and a
yeah,
half.
same
like,
population. It's just like everybody's out in the
StubHub.
burbs, not.
Yeah.
Oh,
I am
not
curious.
central.
There's no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the seed is planted.
It's your team, and like if we think they win in 5,
Imagine Oilers.
you're gonna go
OKC.
see. You could go see your team win it all. So we're saying the 16th, that game. I want to go there. We're going.
They're
You're
very
going by
friendly
yourself.
at OKC.
Are you going by yourself?
No, I'm going with 2 of my friends.
So 3 tickets we need.
Yeah.
$1,000 each Canadian.
Which is actually less than the other tickets right now.
Well, very
Yeah.
much so. This is lower bowl.
No, these are the cheapest. Yeah, these are the cheapest ones.
You're like 4 feet
Like-
from being outside.
Yeah, that's right. But you're in the same area code, so
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
that's good.
That's good. The seed is planted.
Just gotta go take a look
The
and
trophy
plan
will
it
look
out.
like this when they
Yeah,
raise it.
exactly.
But you're there, and then you
You're
got to
there.
be part of the parade.
Right.
Then you
That's
head to
right.
Game 6. Actually, well, the only problem is if the Oilers end this in 5, then you can't fly out because you're going to want to be here for
Oh
the
my
parade.
goodness.
But the
Good
Oilers,
point.
oh, then it's going to go 7. Do you want it to go 7, or do you want to see it 1 in
I
Florida?
want it to go in 5 so I can cancel Fort Lauderdale and go somewhere where I really want to go.
Yeah.
Like OKC.
Like OKC.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right. That's what I was
Maybe I
saying.
might then. Maybe I might.
No, but then you're gonna miss the parade, so that's the tough part there and all that. So.
Yeah.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout there brought to you by the Hive Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Stock. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehiveproductmarketing.com. Just a few more minutes here on the Hangout. Doug, Jasmine, Matt, Tommy, and Benny with you here on the Hangout. Presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life transitions. Book your storage unit today, sentinel.ca.
There is one thing I want to address before ending the show today.
Is this about Gager again, or?
Are you gonna mock Joaquin?
No, but I
not
need to
mock him?
leave before he comes or I'm going to
my
get it.
goodness.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think you are, because I don't think there was anything for him to get mad at.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll get mad at me. He always finds a way. So Cardi B made it official that her and Stephon Diggs are together on IG. It is official. I know they went to Met Gala. I know we talked about this, but it's officially on IG. Therefore, they're IG official.
Is this a good thing or is this toxic? Because Stephon Diggs isn't the best teammate.
Yo, I mean,
best, like, human. I mean,
He was
saw
just-
the yacht.
I was just going to say,
clip?
he's on the yacht with like 3 models. And then
After this was announced.
He was having a
well,
good time
before,
with
like
her.
days before.
and
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
not
that's
surprised.
that, yeah,
Not
that
surprised.
video too.
There was this.
Not at all
Yeah,
surprised.
I wish we could show that video. Of
No,
Cardi
we
B.
ain't showing
I
that
know.
video.
We
there.
could show the models one. Yeah, and then this is how. Yeah, but he's like too much exposure to himself, and I get it. It's the summertime.
Well,
you know, season's not on.
there was that confusion because like yeah, he was on the yacht and he had a little pouch that he gave to,
that he was giving to
he's
the-
given to
the
3
models.
girls that that he got them to refer to him as a father figure.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I don't know. Like
I didn't know the father figure part.
well, like there's another word for that is like they're calling him
Oh,
Daddy?
sugar daddy.
You just say daddy.
daddy. Yeah, he made all 3 of them call him daddy, and then he gave him a pouch and said, "Don't use it all."
There was pink
Nice.
substance inside her. did it look like?
Yeah, Patriots got a real guy there, and
Yeah.
Yeah, the Patriots had to release a statement on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
My other team. That's good. Yeah, hey,
Hey, you've had a long
get
run.
rid of Giannis. Get rid
And
of.
then 2 days later, Cardi B
Yeah.
makes it official that they're I like. Yeah.
You know,
That's love, man.
That's
love. She's been through a lot with Offset. Okay, constantly cheating on her.
man.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm super out of the loop. On
That one I
I'm
didn't.
that's
I'm
so
usually in the know
happy.
on those things.
Yeah,
I don't know about the.
I
I don't know
know
about the
too.
Cardi and
Oh,
offset.
man.
That one
I read a
don't know.
whole thread one night. I was bored, and I just read a whole thing. I got too deep. It was bad.
Got too deep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go watch Tommy's 25-minute 84 thing. That's way more
You'll
interesting
get
to
more
me
out
than
of
this.
it. Maybe even a little nap.
Way
in between,
more.
Yeah.
That's too good. But it's just like you're going on a yacht. Have the disclosure agreements. Have the box where you put the phone in.
Hey,
like,
one second.
Yes.
Because the NDA has become a thing, and you're seeing it more and more. What does that say about us or like superstar athletes and musicians when you expect an NDA anytime you're around one of these people?
They're protecting their assets.
That's so messed up.
Well, it's because of the social media angle now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back
it's
in
just
the
'cause there's
day, you could
phones.
do that stuff and you could have illegal substances and do those type of things, and no one's going to see the light of day. It's only going to be talked about word of mouth, and
Yeah.
now it could, like Stephon Diggs. There's a video and
Yeah.
it just gets put out there, and you're like, oh, now
Great.
this is a thing.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think like this is just him doing it, he's just an idiot. Like all
Clearly.
these
Oh,
athletes,
there's-
obviously
yeah,
celebrities,
lots of
but
them
like
are.
they all do it. But that's what I'm saying. Like how, like you are a multi-million-dollar quarterback, or NFL player, and you're gonna tell me that you don't have someone watching your back, like one of your entourage. Like where are they? Where's your boys to be like, yo, man, take
They
these
had
chicks'
some
phones.
from the pouch.
Yeah.
Like
retired.
everybody, I don't know. But I guess he does play for the Pats, so
Well, he hasn't played yet.
For now.
yeah, for now.
He hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
Although I do like where the Pats are going. Brought in a good coach.
Somebody texted in and said, I've got a crew of 10 people I work with that are stuck in Calgary for game 1. Any idea if there's a bar or outdoor venue there that is Oilers faithful and they will be gathering for a watch party, and I said, and I had to ask some Calgary friends.
Yeah.
There is an
Trolley
Oiler bar.
5.
Which one?
Trolley 5.
Yes, that one. That's
That is
right.
the Oiler bar.
My friend Gabby says she is basically the mascot there. And if it's the videos she's referring to where she was running around with a big Oilers flag and then up on tables, then yes, I could see why she would call herself the mascot of this place. So.
Yeah, that's the one I've heard. Danae told me.
Oh,
that one
Diener.
before.
Okay, yeah,
She's
yeah.
told me that one before. That's the spot.
Where is it? In Calgary?
I don't know. Let me
Doesn't.
see.
I mean,
Trolley
It's
5 is
it's just
the
I know that the Edmonton transplants that are down there.
there's one in
and looking for
Vancouver
a
too.
place.
There's
Yeah,
a,
Frog.
and that's right downtown, Gastown, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think?
that's right.
Trolley 5, 17th, Southwest.
17th,
17th
okay.
Southwest.
Okay.
So is that the real 17th? I don't like their quadrants.
Yeah.
Just west of the Saddle Dome and stuff. So it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
that-
the Oiler bar down there. So there you go. Sorry that you're also in Calgary. David Foucault will be out for a long time, says Lions head coach Bob Pierce. by
That
the way.
was rough, man. They had to.
I didn't see what I just saw. I mean, I saw him down on the field, but I didn't see what happened. Like,
I heard somewhere it was like ankle, but did you see?
I didn't. I think I'm glad I didn't from what I
refs
heard.
And Dan from the Elks ran, and they were spraying the field down, wiping it up. Yeah, it was not good.
Oh, wow.
Did they say what the injury was? Let's see if this article has. He'll be out for a long time.
It was a broken leg of
Parent
some-
leg injury is all they're
Yeah.
saying. So
Yeah. I mean, there was what, like 10,000 people there. Maybe I took a photo, of wide shot of like everybody watching and taking a knee, and I was like, should I put this out? But like, he played for the Elks last year. He was an O-line signing for the Lions. I'm expecting he was going to be a starter.
Yeah, I would think
That's
so.
a significant injury. So,
the game was on YouTube.
oh, they put on CFL Plus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, all the preseason games were on CFL Plus, but the game was on YouTube. I'll have to go see if I can still go find it because I should have gone back and
I don't
rewatched
even
it.
know if they showed the replay on the scoreboard.
They didn't. Not that
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
because I looked down and he was down, and then you could sort of see the players immediately down on one
Rourke
knee.
was like this
Oh,
right
I didn't see
away,
that. And then, because I mean, obviously, and understandably, they're super cautious now.
Yep.
Initially, because I couldn't tell from where I was like what it was, because they're all gathered around. I thought it was a neck injury, which is sort of often what they'll slow things down for. But yeah, it sounded pretty bad from what I heard.
Yikes.
Oilers series prediction for you. Do you got one or do you not do them?
I can't do that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You're like me.
Yeah.
I think one last thought. Hyman's injury will galvanize the team.
That's what
They're going to prevail.
I am
okay,
hoping.
they'll figure out the adaptability. Prediction. At first, I thought 2-1. Let's do an empty netters. Go 3-1 Oilers.
That will be it for the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Up next, Lock Shop, myself and Haas. We'll talk some CFL, we'll talk some Stanley Cup, we'll talk some NBA Finals, we'll talk some Canadian Open. We got two guys and a goalie read-in with Gager and Cass. We've got the EST Afternoons Reed Welcome Show and then Edmonton Riverhawks action, 7:05 right here on EST. Doug, it's good seeing you. It's been a while since I had you on, so apologies that I haven't asked you to come on
I
sooner
appreciate
and
you
stuff, but
reaching out to have me
for having
on.
me
Thanks
Now
for,
you know about
thanks for
Cardi
coming
B. So that's
Well,
great.
exactly. I learned lots of stuff.
His day is
Good.
complete.
I know.
All right, guys.
On behalf of Doug, Jasmine, Benny, Tommy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports presented by Play Alberta Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today,